last week. We'll hear from these guys in just a moment, but first, let's set the game between the Steelers and the Bills. Buffalo won the earlier encounter between these two back in Week 10, 28-20. Jim Kelly with big numbers, and they held Barry Foster in check, one of only 4 games this year where he didn't get over 100 yards, but that one was in Buffalo. Today, of course, in Pittsburgh, where the Steelers have lost just once this season. The Bills are coming off that miraculous win last Sunday against the Oilers, but they remain banged up. And for more on the Bills, let's go to the juice. O.J.
Hey, Bob, lucky you. It's cold here in Pittsburgh, around 32 degrees. The chill factor is around 14, and it is a little windy, so that should affect the passing game. As far as the Bills' health is concerned, of course, Jim Kelly will not play. Thurman Thomas, who sat out the second half of the comeback last week with a hip pointer I caught up with when he arrived at the stadium earlier today.
I had any practice all week, but I've been walking on the treadmill just to get loose, and it feels pretty good today. I'm going to start the game. I know it's going to be a little pain, but it's getting about that time where a lot of the stars have to step up their game and start playing football, and this is going to be the first step for me.
Another marquee player of concern for the Bills is Cornelius Bennett. He didn't play at all last week. He has a pulled hamstring. He will start today. That's the story with the Bills. John Dockery, what's happening with the Steelers?
You know, Juice, good news for the Pittsburgh Steelers because they get their quarterback, Neil O'Donnell, back after 5 weeks out with a broken leg. He's practiced the last 2 weeks. He's looked good. He will start. And after the team breakfast this morning, I asked O'Donnell about his leg.
Yes, I feel fine. Just ready to get going right now.
You worked all week. Was there any pain, any discomfort?
Not at all. Just, you know, I feel very comfortable. My leg's not done bothering me at all. Just ready to get going now.
Will you wear protective padding?
Yes, I will. I'll protect it, but, you know, that's just for cautionary reasons. That's all.
O'Donnell gets his best wide receiver, Jeff Graham, back from an ankle injury. Also, one other note, a throwback to the halcyon days of the Steelers in the 70s. The terrible towel returns to Three River Stadium. And Marvin, Bill, some people say it has magical powers for the Steelers, especially in a home playoff game.
Well, John, I think today the Pittsburgh Steelers will be relying on more than those magical powers of the terrible towel to try and slow down Buffalo wide receiver Don Beebe, who killed the Steelers over the last 2 meetings. And, Bill, he is a major concern of Pittsburgh.
Well, that's right, Marv. A year ago during the regular season, he caught 4 touchdown passes. But this year's success was set up by this long pass, which he dropped, but it set up a series of underneath passes, which he caught. You see him here working against number 23, Sammy Walker, who was matched up on him all day, picking up a first down. And then he converted a number of third downs on little outside patterns, all set up by that long pass, which he dropped.
And another problem for Pittsburgh, what can the Steelers do to contain Thurman Thomas, who ran for 155 yards against them back in Week 10?
Well, I think the Steelers are going to have to play a little bit more of their base defense. They gave up 174 yards rushing, 155 of it was to Thurman Thomas. If they don't do better than that, they're not going to win today.
And, Bob, it should be pointed out, I did offer Bill one of these terrible towels, but it is a little bit on the nippy side, so he has requested an electric blanket.
Stop me, Marv. My sides are splitting. Marv's writers apparently abandoning him in the new year. We will rejoin him and Bill Parcells for the call in a minute. What do you think?
Well, Bobby, I talked to Pete Carroll, the defensive coordinator of the Jets this week, said, look at this game for me. He said, Will, this is the way I look at it. If Thurman Thomas has a big game, Buffalo wins. If he doesn't, Pittsburgh gets the shot.
How do you see it, Warren?
Well, you got to look at the quarterbacks. Frank Reich's got to be beaming with confidence after last week's second half. He likes to go to Andre Reed. We'll see if Rod Woodson will be assigned to him all day. And then Neil O'Donnell's been inactive for 5 weeks. He didn't play well the last time he played, so it'll be important for him to get off to a good start to help his confidence.
By the way, folks, in case you're wondering, we will talk to Warren Moon about the game last week later in this show and again at halftime. The other AFC Divisional playoff is tomorrow in Miami between the Dolphins and the Chargers. Both finished the regular season 11-5. Each won its division. For a quick report, let's check in with Todd Christensen at the Dolphins practice site. Todd.
Bob, thanks so much. And the weather here is absolutely tremendous if you happen to be a Duck. This torrential downpour is forecast for tomorrow as well, and as a result, it becomes incumbent upon the running backs to be effective in tomorrow's game. Marion Butts of the San Diego Chargers rushed for over 100 yards and a touchdown and running roughshod over the Kansas City defense last week. And with Miami Dolphins key run stopper John Offerdahl out for the season, that is going to be an issue with the Miami Dolphins defense. On the other side of the ball, their leading rusher, Mark Higgs, will not play in tomorrow's game, which means Bobby Humphries, normally the third down back, will have to play the entire game. I talked with Bobby Humphrey earlier, and I asked him, I said, Bobby, is it going to be a stamina problem having to go the distance? And he tilted his sunglasses down and looked at me and said, what do you think? So needless to say, Humphrey is ready. Well, the marquee matchup, of course, is Dan Marino versus the San Diego defense. Marino, the only quarterback in the NFL to throw for over 4,000 yards, was nonetheless sacked a career-high 28 times. And he is going against the San Diego defense led by Leslie O'Neal that led the AFC in sacks this season. And I would say this, too, Bob, as a footnote. If there's anybody that can set up something to stop Dan Marino, you would think that it would be Bill Arnsparger, longtime Miami assistant, creator of the no-name defense and the Killer Bees. He will have something ready for the Dolphins come Sunday. Bob?
Yeah, that's one of the interesting subplots, and there are many of them in that game tomorrow, which we'll talk about later as well. Up next, OJ brings us a different perspective on the Steelers' Neil O'Donnell. That's as we continue on NFL Live.
NFL Live, the AFC Divisional Playoff, is brought to you by Intel, the computer inside, by Plus System. Plus marks the spot for cash when you travel at cash machines coast to coast and beyond. And by GTE, telecommunications consultant to the NFL.
In retail, there are two absolute laws. The customer is always right.
Say they were anchovies, they're anchovies, all right?
And the competition is always right behind you. Reason enough to have a GTE phone system beside you. Because we can show you ways to use it to be more productive.
Yeah, hello, sales.
Even get new and repeat business. Call us, because your competition is also watching this commercial.
With Minwax polyurethane, you can do more than admire your wood. You can live with it, too, because Minwax contains pure urethane oil to protect wood while giving it beauty you can really live with. Minwax keeps wood beautiful.
It's almost as if someone once said, just in case people like sunshine and water, we'd better make Florida. And we'd better make miles of beautiful beaches and places like St. Augustine and Key West, just in case people want to go to them. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory, all across America. And nationwide, only Alamo gives you all those miles for free, including the ones that run through a state that's named after sunshine.
It's gone. But it isn't.
Here's strong medicine in a cough drop. Extra strength Vicks. With Vicks Vapor Medicine so effective, it'll relieve your cough and help your scratchy throat and stuffy nose feel better, even after the drop is gone.
A twin blade from Bic?
What's in it for me?
I'm a big man. Big man.
This is new? A twin for normal skin and a twin for sensitive, right?
I'm a big man.
Yo, I'm a sensitive guy, so I tried it.
Big man.
It was good. It was great. A new Bic Twin Select. Normal, sensitive.
It really blew me away.
You made a big man out of me.
Big man. Big man.
A couple of former Maryland Terrapins, Frank Reich and Neil O'Donnell, face each other today with the winner headed for the AFC Championship game. Reich was an understudy to Boomer Esiason before starting in '84. Stan Gelbaugh, now of Seattle, backed up Reich before getting his chance in '85. O'Donnell started for 2 seasons, '88 and '89. Then he was succeeded at Maryland by current Patriot quarterback Scott Zolak. Now, Neil O'Donnell missed the last 3 weeks of the regular season with a broken leg, but he's back for the biggest game of his life as we turn to O.J. Simpson in Pittsburgh. However, the Juice has a different side of the O'Donnell story.
Hey, Bob, you know one of the nice things about this job is you get to meet a lot of nice people like Neil and the O'Donnell family. Neil is one of 9 children from Madison, New Jersey. The O'Donnell family is a close-knit group who've in the last 5 months become a lot closer.
Success for Neil O'Donnell is a result of a strong work ethic and endless preparation. But in early August, on the eve of the Steelers preseason opener, Neil O'Donnell's world was shaken by news he was unprepared for.
My brother called me and told me that my dad was sick and he went to the hospital. And that's really all I knew. My dad had a stroke and he had 6 hours of brain surgery also. He had a blood clot in his brain. So, you know, there was a decision that had to be made, and my mom and my brother made it that they had to operate on his brain and relieve the pressure from his brain.
When you see a person who's the pillar of your world reduced to half the man that he was initially after the surgery, it's emotionally one of the most traumatic things you could ever put anyone through.
He wanted to come home as soon as possible, and that's when my mom told him, no reason to, there's not much you can do right now. It's in the hands of the doctors and the good Lord.
The first thing I really realized was I have to get home. I have to get home and see my father. You know, take football second, and I have to go home because I didn't want to fly home to bury my father.
I can remember the day in training camp when he first got the news, and I remember talking with him, and only then, and not knowing his background, and realized how important his father was to him.
After talking to my mom and my brothers, there's really nothing I could do if I was home because my dad was in such serious condition, he wouldn't even realize I was there. So my mom convinced me to stay at camp, play the game against the Eagles, and then fly home right after and see my father, and that's what I did.
Despite the emotional burden, O'Donnell was spectacular in one quarter of action against Philadelphia, throwing for 241 yards and 3 touchdowns.
How were you able to put this out of your mind? Or were you able to?
I kept thinking if there's one thing my father would want me doing, he'd want me to be playing football. You know, my dad wouldn't want me by his bedside. If there was a game that I had to play in, if there was a big competition going on, my dad would want me there. So I knew deep down inside my father wanted me on the football field.
Neil is the youngest of the 9 O'Donnell children. His father, Jack, began his career as a mechanic and eventually owned the automobile dealership. His mother, Barbara, earned her master's degree from Columbia at the age of 22.
I believe I got my toughness from my father, no doubt about it. My patience from my mom. My mom's a very patient person, and my dad's an aggressive man who is determined. When he's determined to do something, he's going to get it done.
Neil has dedicated this season to his father. Steeler victories have become an important element in his dad's rehabilitation.
When my dad was in critical condition, he still knew when I played, and he always wanted to know the score. He'd always make my mom come in and read the sports page to him about how we played, and every time I go out there, I just said, you know, if we just continue winning, it's the best therapy for my father.
When my dad suffered a stroke, Neil felt very bad about the situation and wanted my dad to be proud of him and wanted to help with therapy. The best therapy for my father was seeing Neil win football games.
I'm very proud to be his brother, and he's not let anyone down this year, and I know my dad is extremely proud to have him as his baby son.
Jack O'Donnell is home in Madison, New Jersey. The left side of his body is paralyzed, but he's showing signs of improvement. I know he's watching now. I want to commend you, Mr. O'Donnell, on raising a great group of kids. Even though you should have a talk with that Steve and Peter, they took me out the other night. I think they thought I was Irish. I still have the headache to prove it. Bob?
Well, some of that may brace you against the chill today at Three Rivers, though, Juice.
You got that right.
Let's get a quick football impression. You're in the same division. You play the Steelers twice a year. Your thoughts about O'Donnell?
Well, he's done a great job this year, especially dealing with the adversity in his family and also having the broken ankle. I think this is a big game for him today because he's been inactive for about the last 4 or 5 weeks. His first playoff game, I'm sure he's very excited about it.
Okay, and up next, we look back at that incredible sequence of events that unfolded in Buffalo last Sunday. Strap him in. NFL Live continues.
Come to Subway are a little surprised we don't have sandwiches ready, just fresh bread. That's so you can see your sandwich being made and tell me if you like onions, tomatoes, or even hot peppers. I'm not a mind reader, and there's lots to choose from. If your sandwich looks as good as it tastes, that's because Subway has a training center where experts like Mr. Pilchin teach us the art of making beautiful sandwiches. He calls himself an art teacher. I guess that makes me a sandwich artist.
Ask a sandwich artist to make you a 6-inch meatball sub. Now it's just $1.69 at Subway.
Hi, Martin Mull for Red Roof Inns. For a limited time, Red Roof Inns have lowered the roof on prices.
For special lower the roof rates at any one of our more than 200 inns, call 1-800-THE-ROOF.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, we're making a commercial here.
Oh.
You're in it.
Most people retire to Northern California for the gentle climate. Neil McBain came here to race in the fabled Monterey Historic. And Dean Witter was with him every mile of the way.
respect the power of a client's dream and help them achieve it.
That's why 11 years ago, Dean Witter mapped out Neil's financial course with one goal in mind. Victory. Dean Witter.
We measure success one investor at a time.
Looking for a new direction, gotta make a plan. It's time to make my move.
Train for the jobs of the future today at New England Tech. Choose from 17 exciting career programs. New England Tech, for over 50 years, the leader in technical career education.
The answer to my future, without a plan, where will I be?
Don't wait. Call New England Tech at 467-7744 today. 467-7744.
The NFL Coach of the Year, the Steelers' rookie head coach, Bill Cowher. He had an interesting perspective as the Bills and Oilers battled it out last Sunday at Rich Stadium.
I watched the first half and prepared myself to play Houston. As the game started to turn in the third quarter, I had put all those preparations out of my mind, and I watched it as a fan. And I thought it was one of the most entertaining football games that I've seen, and I've watched a lot of football in my life.
Warren Moon was perhaps somewhat less than entertained, but he has agreed to grit his teeth and comment a bit more about the game in a moment. But first, to Will for a run-through on the coaching vacancies. Let's start in Chicago.
Bob, I don't think they have a candidate right now that's legitimate. They haven't even made up a list, but eventually they're going to try to get down to 5 guys, and that's when Mike McCaskey, the president of the Bears, will talk to each one of those guys individually and then make the pick.
Fair to say that Richie Pettibone, former Bear, Redskin defensive coordinator, will be on that list?
Well, I think he'll probably be on the original list. We'll probably have about 25 guys, but I don't know if he's going to be on the final 5. That's up to McCaskey.
Who succeeds Dick McPherson in New England?
Well, I think what Sam Jankovic is going to do is talk to Dennis Erickson at the University of Miami. You got to remember, Sam used to be the athletic director in Miami, and if he can't get Dennis to come to New England, then he's going to go over and talk to Dave Wannstedt, defensive coordinator of the Cowboys, also a former University of Miami coach. But I think Wannstedt's the hot guy right now. I think he's the guy the Giants have their eye on, and from what I understand, the Giants have already asked permission to talk to him.
Meanwhile, Dennis Erickson has the outs that he needs in Miami, right?
That's right. He can get out of his contract and come to the NFL.
How about Dan Reeves calling George Young to express an interest in the Giant job?
Well, he did, and I think what he wanted to tell George is, listen, don't believe what you read in the papers. I'm not a power monger. I can go in there and do the job, and you can still be in control. But I think what's going to happen is this. I don't see Dan Reeves or Mike Ditka or Bill Parcells in this mix right now of new coaches for next year.
Who do you see getting Reeves' job in Denver?
Well, I think Mike Shanahan got a lock on that one as soon as the 49ers are through. And I think the only surprise could come in Phoenix, where I thought Joe Bugle was going to go. Now, from what I understand, he's most likely going to stay. The change will be in the front office, where Larry Wilson, the general manager, will probably move to the side, and they'll probably get a new general manager.
One bit of advice, and I seldom offer you advice. Never try to predict the maneuvers of Billy Bidwell.
That's right. You know that from your St. Louis experience.
I know it only too well. Now, let's change directions here, whether Warren Moon prefers that we do or not. Certain images linger from last week's all but unbelievable Buffalo comeback against Houston. But the game was so eventful, it's necessary to rewind the tape to get a better sense of what Buffalo accomplished and Houston squandered, and to realize that despite their bent toward self-destruction, the Oilers still might have won in spite of themselves if any one of several plays had gone the other way. Let's pick it up after Bubba McDowell's touchdown return of an interception has given Houston a 35-3 lead moments into the third quarter. Houston kicks off, and things start to unravel. Al Del Greco's squib kick hits Buffalo lineman Mark Maddox, who makes a very athletic play to give the Bills a short field at the 50. On the next snap, Frank Reich's pass goes through the hands of linebacker Eddie Robinson, a near interception that might have sealed the game. Instead, Buffalo marches to its first TD with Kenneth Davis taking it in. Then on the ensuing kickoff, Houston isn't expecting the onside kick. It's 5-man front retreating as Steve Christie dribbles the ball soccer style and then makes the recovery himself. A few plays later, Houston's safeties are occupied by Keith McKellar running a deep seam route. That leaves Don Beebe free for an easy touchdown. Beebe is actually bumped out of bounds, making him ineligible, but the officials make no call. 2 minutes later, Buffalo calls a flatten up route to Andre Reed. This is a play that Steve Jackson had defended well minutes earlier when the Oilers were in a man-to-man. But this time, in zone, the deep coverage will jump on a post pattern run by James Lofton. And when Jackson fails to turn and run with Reed, the Bills have another wide-open receiver and their third touchdown. On his next possession, Marv Levy decides to gamble on a critical 4th and 5 at the Oilers' 18. Houston chooses to play man-to-man underneath on Buffalo's 5 receivers with 2 deep safeties. But Jackson is again beaten by Reed. He gets no help from the safeties, and Buffalo has its 4th touchdown of the quarter. As the final period begins, Al Smith and this same Steve Jackson lose a certain interception near midfield. Then on a field goal try that could have pushed the lead back to 7, Greg Montgomery fumbles the snap. Desperate now on defense, Houston blitzes Jackson out of the slot, but receiver and quarterback read it for another big Buffalo first down. On the very next play, Jackson should reroute his man, disrupt him, but instead, Reed goes straight down the seam. His touchdown gives Buffalo its first lead, 38-35. Watch Reich as he looks off, holding the safety Marcus Robertson just long enough with his eyes before threading the needle to Reed for the go-ahead TD. Then in overtime, there was one more indignity. Ernest Givens is held by Darryl Talley on Nate Odom's interception. Nothing is called, and this leads to the winning field goal. Chris Dishman said you guys choked. Is that harsh or on the money?
It's a word you hate to hear, especially for your football team, but it's pretty accurate because we had control of the ball game, had a big lead, we let it get away with all within a half or less than a half, and for that to happen for a team that's supposed to be as good as we are, I guess you have to say we choked.
It's not just this year. There have been opportunities in the past with good personnel, and you've never made it to the Super Bowl. Is there a sense that the window of opportunity has closed?
There's no question it's closing, but I think we still have good personnel. We have a good mixture of youth and veteran players on our team, so I think we'll be back. It just depends on how well we respond to this next season.
Was this piece too hard on Steve Jackson individually?
I think it really was because we played a lot of soft zone in the second half, and a lot of those balls were caught in the opening areas of those soft zones, and you didn't see any balls exactly caught on him. So I think it was kind of harsh. They just exploited areas in the zone that we had.
Jim Eddy gets fired, defensive coordinator. Scapegoat or realistic decision?
Well, I don't know everything behind it, but I'm sure they were kind of unhappy with the way the defense played early in the season, and also we lost some fourth-quarter leads, and it's very easy to replace coaches as opposed to players, so I think that's what they went after first on the defensive side.
And you didn't make the adjustments you should have made defensively in the second half, right?
We probably should have went after them a little bit more like we did the week before, and pressure Wright a little bit more, make him have to make some throws he needed to make.
Now, you had a great first half, one of the greatest in playoff history, but do you critique yourself at all and the offense for the second half?
There's no question. I think we could have did a better job of controlling the football, especially in the third quarter when we had the win in our face and Buffalo had it at their back. If we could have sustained a couple of drives and got out of that quarter, it would have been very tough for them to come back with the win in their face, but we didn't. We went 3 and out a couple of times and turned it over one time, and that enabled their comeback to keep going.
Okay, our time is tight here, but Warren is back with us for more discussion at halftime, and we're back with player introductions from Pittsburgh right after these messages.
This symbol outside means you have the standard inside that an entire library of software has been written to. The Intel microprocessor. Think of it as a library card that lets you run the software of today and tomorrow. So check out Computers with Intel, the computer inside.
2 thumbs up for Scent of a Woman. Roger Ebert calls it an amazing film.
I'm in the amazing business.
But Kino roars through this story with show-stopping intensity.
I'm just getting warmed up.
Scent of a Woman, rated R. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
Why did Hertz invent #1 Club Gold service? To beat the rush hour. See, every plane and every body seems to land at once. But with Gold service, there's no stopping at the counters and no paperwork. Instead, you go nonstop to your waiting car with your name in lights. Only Hertz has #1 Club Gold. The best reason yet why Hertz beats the rush hour. To Hertz, the rest of the day is a piece of cake.
Coast, the eye-opener.
No, Hoover, not in your mouth. Hoover.
Hang up and try your call again.
Hoover, is there anything you won't put in your mouth? Here, have a potato chip instead.
Tired of those burnt, spotted, ordinary chips? Now that Lay's has created a chip so perfectly golden, nothing less will do. Today's Lay's.
Yummy.
One taste and you'll cash in your old chips.
Number 98, Gerald Williams.
10 years to the day after the Steelers' last home playoff game, 13 years after their 4th Super Bowl victory, Chuck Noll among those in attendance at Three Rivers. Let's pick up the introductions.
Number 57, Gerald Williams. That left inside linebacker from California, number 54, Hardy Nickerson. That right inside linebacker from Florida, number 50, David Little. That right outside linebacker from Fort Valley State, number 95, Greg Lloyd. That left cornerback from Purdue, number 26, Rod Woodson. That right cornerback.
The winner will be one step from the Super Bowl. We'll see at halftime as we're joined by Dan Marino and Junior Seau. Until then, enjoy the first half from Pittsburgh, everybody.
You know you can get cash just across the street. But did you know you can get cash all across the country? Using the same card you use at the cash machines at home. That is, when your card has a plus. Because plus marks the spot for cash when you travel. At cash machines in big cities and small towns. In all 50 states and beyond. So check your card and name your street.
Married psychiatrist is seduced by a patient who could destroy the only thing he loves.
You can't get away from me.
Tim Matheson, Mind of a Killer, NBC Monday.
People come to Easton Butcher Block for high-quality, reasonably priced furniture. Made right here in our Providence factory. And to celebrate our 6th factory outlet in Orange, we've reduced everything 30 to 70%. Imagine a kitchen table for only $99. Matching chairs, $19. Oak bookcases, $57. Or a beautiful extension table for half price. So why not stop by Easton Butcher Block's 6 factory outlets for real wood, real value furniture.
In 1941, Ted Williams hit .406, reaching a goal that others have chased for a half-century. And the kid still swings pretty good.
We've reached a new goal at Nissan, too. A while back, we asked you to try 2 fine Nissan breads, Canadian white and brown.
And most folks did, Ted.
Most? Are you telling me, Bud, that some people haven't even tried our Canadians?
Yeah, but I spoke to them this morning.
Let's bet 1,000, folks. Try both Nissan Canadians.
My car, it needs a brake job. Just my luck. My dealer makes appointments, so I'm stuck. The cost, the hassle, the pain, the fuss. I wish that I could drive my car. Instead, I ride the bus.
You got to take your car to Midas when your brakes go bad. Get $20 off the price. Hey, stop feeling sad. Get great Midas value and a great guarantee.
And same-day service? Hey, now, that's for me.
Take your car to
Get $20 off brake repairs at Midas today.
Providence Mayor Vincent Cianci, Sunday morning at 10.
They were not supposed to be here. Not this soon. The final link to the dynasty that won 4 Super Bowls. Coach Chuck Noll had only retired last year. Surely little could be expected from this young, unproven group led by a rookie head coach. But for the Pittsburgh Steelers, this was a season of miracles. Who could have imagined this unlikely return to glory and the circumstances surrounding it? An offensive architect spurned by the team he helped make world champions came to the Steel City and injected newfound confidence in an unheralded quarterback and designed a familiar bruising running scheme. A defense mired in mediocrity played with fury in the image of the team's fiery young coach. To the surprise of everyone, the Steelers topped the AFC Central, relighting the fires that once burned bright at the confluence of the Allegheny, the Ohio, and the Monongahela. For the Buffalo Bills, 1992 seemed like their last best chance for greatness, despite the haunting memory of 2 Super Bowl defeats. For most of the season, Buffalo was the team to beat, but they faltered at the end and limped into the playoffs. Then 6 days ago, it looked like the battered Bills were finally broken, but they had saved all of their miracles for one final half.
Here is Davis, fakes for the corner, and makes it. Offside kick goes 10 yards. Buffalo scrambles for it. The Bills say they have it. Down the side. Oh, right, nice touch. Has another man open. Andre Reed. Still going for it at 4th and 5. Into the end zone. Has a man. Touchdown. Right to throw. End zone. Touchdown.
As overtime ended, their miracle was complete. The greatest comeback in the history of the NFL. And so 2 teams, one that lived a miracle season and another that lived a miracle game, meet today. The winner will be one victory away from representing their conference in the Super Bowl. Degree brisk day in Pittsburgh, a capacity crowd better than 59,000 turning out for the first postseason playoff game at Three Rivers Stadium in 10 years. 10 years to the day, and the terrible towels are back. Yes, one of the signatures of the great Steeler teams of the 1970s has been revived. The terrible towels are back in grand style. Hi, everybody. I'm Marv Albert, along with Bill Parcells. And, Bill, from the head coach point of view, I would think the major concern of Buffalo's Marv Levy is how will the Bills react to that remarkable come-from-behind victory over Houston last week? How will they handle it?
Well, Marv Levy told us last night, Marv, every Monday he gets up in front of his team and he says, forget about that game. He didn't do that this week. You know, he realized the game was part of history. He wanted them to cherish it and take the exhilaration and the emotion, bring it down to Pittsburgh, and hopefully get another win down here.
And Neil O'Donnell is back as Pittsburgh's starting quarterback, coming back from the broken leg. He'd missed the last 3 weeks of the regular season. How will that layoff affect O'Donnell?
I don't think it'll affect O'Donnell at all. He's had 2 weeks of practice. He should be ready to go. He played all year. He only missed 3 games, but they did give Brister some repetitions. They have 2 quarterbacks ready to go for the Steelers today.
Buffalo has won the toss, and they will receive. Kenneth Davis and Brad Lamb are back. Kenneth Davis on the return. And he brings across the 20-yard line. There it is, Frank Wright with the offensive line. They've been solid right throughout. 2 Pro Bowlers in Will Wolford and the house, Howard Ballard. Herman Thomas is back. Darrell Gardner in the backfield. The receivers, Lofton, Reed, and Metzelar. And when they go to what they call the K-gun, Don Beebe, a man who has destroyed the Steelers over the last 2 meetings, will come on. Through the hands of Andre Reed, covered by the strong safety, Carnell Lake.
Well, the first thing I noticed that's different, the top of the screen, Rod Woodson is playing left corner. He usually matches up when they play Buffalo on number 3, Andre Reed. But this time, Carnell Lake, 37, is on Reed, and D.J. Johnson, number 44, is on Beebe.
2nd down and 10. And a big hole for Thurman Thomas. He is short of the first down. Stopped by the nose tackle, Gerald Williams. A look at that front 7. They are very quick, and they are athletic. Davidson, Williams, Evans up front. Gerald Williams, Hardy Nickerson, David Little, and Greg Lloyd are the linebackers. A very solid secondary. Buffalo in the hurry-up. And the first down picked up by the tight end, Pete Metzelar. Richard Shelton, the extra defensive back, making the stop on Metzelar.
Well, you see Pittsburgh in their dime defense starting the game with the dime, and Richard Shelton, 24, has Metzelar's man-to-man, and he sneaks across and just picks up the first down.
Again, the no-huddle. First down at the 34. And Wright goes sideline and has another first down. Combining with Don Beebe. D.J. Johnson, the right corner, made the stop, and that's a pickup of 11.
One of the things Buffalo's been able to do against Pittsburgh in the past is work one-on-one, the wide receivers outside, and as I said, Dom Capers, the Pittsburgh defensive coordinator, has elected to leave Woodson and Johnson on the wide receivers in an attempt to neutralize them today.
A swing pass for Thomas. Marv Levy telling us last night that he feels the no-huddle offense can diminish Pittsburgh's home field advantage. It can lessen the home noise factor because the defense forced to line up faster than normal, and it's more difficult, obviously, to substitute.
Right, and Pittsburgh does have a little communication problem facing this hurry up, and we'll get into that right after this play.
Second down and 6, Thomas. And he is shy of the first down. Larry Griffin making the stop on Thurman Thomas, who is back from the sore hip. Re-injured the hip pointer he suffered in the regular season finale in Houston. As a result, Kenneth Davis played the second half last week in the wild card and played well.
Well, Davis has like a fullback mentality, except he plays tailback, and he gives Buffalo a good change-up for the quickness of Thurman Thomas.
Thurman Thomas getting the call and bringing close to the marker Donald Evans and the outstanding rookie free safety Darren Perry combined on the stop. And they spotted just inside the 45-yard line. They are calling for the yardsticks.
Things that Dom Capers, the Pittsburgh defensive coordinator, said about the Buffalo offense is they're not only good when they're spread out, but they're very good in these type short yardage situations. They bring their extra linemen into play, tight end. The big fullback Carwell Gardner's usually the lead blocker. It looks like this formation they have number 59, Mitch Farrat, lined up in the backfield.
Yes, it is Gardner with Farrat. Gardner. Stop. So the Steelers take over on downs. They take over at the 46-yard line. We'll be back in a moment.
Success story was unique.
We have a sacred trust to protect our investors.
Whether it's the success of a small business,
to maintain conservative policies,
saving for college,
to put the interest of our clients first,
or planning an early retirement. From getting in on the ground floor to getting all the way to the top, Dean Witter is there to help every client make it every step of the way. Dean Witter.
We measure success one investor at a time.
Gone are the days of the 2-week vacation. The average American getaway has sadly dwindled to 4.1 days. But what hasn't diminished is our need to escape to a quiet, stress-free environment, like the luxurious interior of the Acura Vigor. Don't think of it as a drive to work. Think of it as a 30-minute vacation.
On that last fourth down play, the two key guys, Carnell Lake, number 37, and David Little attacking number 59, the lead blocker, Mitch Farrat. And Pittsburgh kind of lets Buffalo know right here that this is going to be a football game today. That's a great defensive play to start off with.
It would appear that Marv Levy was upset about that spot, which has Buffalo falling short on 3rd down. A handoff to Barry Foster, able to turn the corner. Cut down by Cornelius Bennett, who has made his return after missing the last 2 games with a pulled hamstring.
Well, one of the things that Pittsburgh's going to try to do is run in behind the 2 big tight ends, Adrian Cooper, number 87, and 86, Eric Green. And they just stick Foster in there behind him and try to run from off tackle to wide. And talking to their offensive coordinator, Ron Earhart, that's where they want to attack the Bills, off tackle and wide.
8-yard advance from Barry Foster, who ranks 2nd in the NFL in rushing behind Emmett Smith. O'Donnell's pass could not be held by the tight end, Adrian Cooper. He was wide open.
Well, they go with a play-action pass, and Pittsburgh's going to need to mix the run and pass on 1st and 2nd down. And the ball's just a little bit behind Cooper, and he can't hold on. But look for Pittsburgh not to come out and run, and then pass. It's going to be a mixture on 1st and 2nd down, I think, throughout the game.
Bill Cowher looking at a 3rd down and 2 at the Buffalo 46. 4 minutes gone by, 1st quarter with no score. Back to the ground and a 1st down picked up by Barry Foster, stopped by Shane Conlon. Let's run down the Pittsburgh offensive alignment. This a very solid offensive line. A couple of Pro Bowlers, DeMonte Dawson and Carlton Hasselrig, will be making it to Hawaii. Neil O'Donnell back at quarterback. Barry Foster and Merrill Hodge are the running backs. The receivers, Graham, Stone, and Cooper. When they go to what they call the Detroit, the extra tight end, Eric Green will join Adrian Cooper. Jeff Graham was a question mark with a sprained ankle, but he is in there. 1st down at the 41. And it's Foster's stop as he got inside the 40. Darryl Talley and Shane Conlon combined to make the tackle. It will be a 2nd down and 8. The front 7 of Buffalo, Hanson, Wright, and Smith up front. Bruce Smith, 14 sacks during the regular season. Patton, Conlon, Bennett inside as he makes his return. Talley on the outside. And Williams, Odom, Jones, and Kelso in the secondary. Kirby Jackson is back in action. He'll be the nickel back. Missed the last 2 games because of a pulled hamstring. 2nd down and 8. Ernie Mills now split wide left side. And O'Donnell goes that way and completes for the 1st down inside the 20. Nate Odom on the coverage.
What O'Donnell did there was put a flood formation out to the right, expecting single coverage on top of the screen, which he got, just a 3-deep zone, and Ernie Mills runs a short inside post. The ball may have been tipped by one of the Buffalo defenders. There's another look at it, but if not, it's just in behind. No, it's clean to the receiver. It's in behind number 37, Nate Odom, for the big 1st down.
A 20-yard advance. Now back to the ground for Foster. Stopped by Bennett. Neil O'Donnell was telling us yesterday, now he comes back from a cracked right fibula, and he is wearing a cast, Bill, not on the right leg, but on the left leg, because he is hoping that Buffalo defensive players will not realize it, and they will go for the left leg instead of the right.
Well, there's where the cast is, but this is where the bad leg is right here. You know, you should put a duck decoy on that cast, because that's really what it is. He's throwing a little bait out there for the Buffalo players.
Little chicanery being pulled off by Neil O'Donnell. 2nd and 7 at the 16. Off the play action. O'Donnell could not find anyone, and down he goes. Brought down by the nose tackle, Jeff Wright.
This play action that O'Donnell just finished attempting there was the one that was successful in the first meeting up at Buffalo for 2 touchdowns. He fakes hard to the left, Foster and then bootlegs back looking for the tight ends coming across. But Buffalo has this play well defensed, and you know, they should have. After you give up a couple of touchdowns in a game, usually you work pretty hard on those things that hurt you. And it was a good job by the Buffalo defense, and their defensive coordinator, Walt Corey, there had them ready for that bootleg.
Corey, the man who went wild at halftime of the locker room last week, and then things did turn around in the second half. Each play of the drive, and O'Donnell's taken down by Talley. Darryl Talley, two-time Pro Bowl player, 4 sacks during the regular season, comes up with the sack right here.
Well, Darryl Talley just on the pass rush, working against the guard, Duval Love, number 67, and Love just doesn't get out there in time to stop the Talley surge, and he's able to sack O'Donnell and prevent the first down. Pittsburgh's going to have to settle for a field goal.
It's a 38-yard attempt for Gary Anderson. Angle to the left. It is good. It's the Steelers 3, the Bills nothing.
Gone are the days of the 2-week vacation. The average American getaway has sadly dwindled to 4.1 days. But what hasn't diminished is our need to escape to a quiet, stress-free environment, like the luxurious interior of the Acura Vigor. Don't think of it as a drive to work. Think of it as a 30-minute vacation.
In one day,
we send out a lot of packages.
Probably ship maybe
5 packages a day.
30 packages.
200 packages a day by United Parcel.
They do a good job.
2,000 to 3,000.
3,000 to 4,000.
That's a lot of packages.
So we ship it overnight.
To Chicago.
Florida, Atlanta, overseas,
Belgium, Italy,
Venezuela.
On the ground.
Second day air.
Second day air.
Off it goes. Next day.
10:30 guaranteed.
Guaranteed.
Only one company does all that.
UPS.
UPS?
I would think UPS.
UPS does everything.
It's from A to Z. Nuts to soup. And action.
McDonald's Egg McMuffin sandwiches. They don't really do anything, but they taste really good. And now you can get 2 of them for just $2.
And cut. Thanks, guys. That was great.
The surface of a strange, distant planet? No, 2 tantalizing McDonald's Big Mac sandwiches. Now get them both for just $2.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Deep in a remote jungle? Nope, 2 Big Macs for $2. You mean you forgot already?
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. With that fresh, pure, natural taste, nothing beats a Bud. By Acura Automobiles, experience precision-crafted performance. By UPS, the package delivery company more companies count on. And by Alamo. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory. And with Alamo, all those miles are free.
Back at Three Rivers in Pittsburgh, where the Steelers went 7-1 at home, their best record at home since they were 8-0 back in 1979. And the kickoff return handled by Brad Lamb. Hard driving run by Lamb, who's bumped out just inside the 25 by Jerry Olszewski. A 38-yard field goal by Gary Anderson, giving Pittsburgh a 3-0 lead, and Buffalo will start out from the 25-yard line. Bill, last week, Buffalo coaches apparently were worried that Frank Reich was over-preparing for the game against Houston. He was told to pull back on the extra film work. You ever told a player to ease up in the preparation for a game?
No, I don't think you can over-prepare unless it's costing you some rest, some sleep.
Reich with the handoff, and that was diagnosed. Thurman Thomas is stopped for a loss by Greg Lloyd.
Greg Lloyd, one of the big plays for the Steelers, along with Rod Woodson, bottom of the screen, number 95, comes unblocked, and what happened there was Reich audible to a weak side play that looked like it was there, and then Lloyd blitzed at the last minute and took it away.
Loss of 3, second and 13 from the 22. Thomas getting across the 30-yard line. Run out by the strong safety, Carnell Lake.
You know, one of the problems a defensive team has when you're playing up against the hurry-up offense is the communication. Now, on top of the screen, you see Dom Capers, who's making the call, down to Dick LeBeau, who just signaled it out to the whole defense, who are just all visually looking at LeBeau, because they don't have time to go back in the huddle either. So they have to get the defense from LeBeau, and it comes down from Capers.
Third down and 3 at the 32. Just under 6 minutes remaining. First quarter. The terrible towels at work. It was tipped and dropped. Reed, the intended receiver, covered by Lake.
Frank Reich saw the blitz coming that time. He called the audible. They had the right play call, but the ball was tipped, and he just couldn't get it to Reed. Ball's tipped out the line of scrimmage. I couldn't see who did it, but it affected the flight, and Reed wasn't able to make the reception, and Lake had close coverage anyway.
Earlier in the season, the Steelers very effective with batted balls, a lot of tips, and that area seemed to slow down as the season progressed. Rod Woodson is back for the punt. And here's Woodson out to the 30. Weaving his way to the 34-yard line, Rod Woodson, the leading punt return man of the AFC, going for 15 on the 48-yard punt.
There's nothing else like it on Earth, or maybe even in heaven. It stretches for 725 miles, and it's called the California coastline. There are over 4 million miles of roads in Alamo territory all across America. And every day, with every car nationwide, only Alamo gives you all those miles for free, including the ones where the people bask in the sun and watch the seals, and the seals bask in the sun and watch the people.
I'll be right with you.
Unleaded, please. Why will rock and roll never die? Try a beer that drinks like a light with real draft taste, Bud Dry. Because while legends may come and go, true refreshment is here to stay.
It's the weekend, and the Honda automobile plant in Marysville, Ohio is closed. Everybody's gone home. Well, almost everybody. So this is a good time to show you around. 10,000 Americans build 3 out of every 5 Hondas sold in America right here in Ohio. In fact, they've been making cars here for 10 years. Well, we won't take up any more of your time. After all, it is the weekend.
Well, the city of Pittsburgh has certainly been revved up for today's game. This is the scene coming down from the Parkway West from the airport. No comebacks allowed. And the terrible towels are back. John Dockery on the pregame show telling of the alleged magical powers of the terrible towel. Longtime Pittsburgh fans relating the tale of a terrible towel healing the leg of one Terry Bradshaw during a 1975 playoff game. You think I'm pulling your leg there?
No, I think those towels work better, though, Mark, when the players are big and fast.
Yes. A valid point. First down at the 34 as O'Donnell goes sideline. Once again combining with Mills, who refused to go down. Ernie Mills in his second year out of Florida, a strong special teams player who has been seen more as a prime receiver as the season has progressed. 30 catches during the year. Henry Jones, J.D. Williams combined to make that stop. It'll be a 2nd and 5 at the 33. Bill Cowher telling us after practice yesterday his major piece of advice directed to offensive coordinator Ron Earhart. Coming off Buffalo's performance last week, Cowher said he told Earhart, don't get too big a lead too early.
Yeah, that's right, because they can score quick, Buffalo, but...
And Foster has a first down. Bennett and Patton combine to stop Barry Foster.
Well, this is just the old, what people refer to as the Green Bay sweep. You see both guards pulling. Duval loves 67, and Carton whistle, Rick, 77 around the corner, and they use the flanker to crack back on the linebacker, and the Steelers have done a good job so far in this game, mixing run and pass on first and second down.
Offensive coordinator Ron Earhart, and who helped design the Giants game plan that defeated Buffalo in Super Bowl 25. Bennett makes the stop on Foster. Bill Ron said something about you supplying the coffee and donuts during the offensive meetings with the Giants just to keep busy, and he would just take care of things.
No, that's not right. The rookies, #1 draft choices, always were in charge of all donuts.
I see.
But Ron Earhart, if he has an advantage offensively today, it's the mismatches of the Pittsburgh's tight ends against the linebackers and cornerbacks of Buffalo, and they've got to make that show up today offensively.
It's a 2nd and 5, and Foster short of the first down. Quick moving first quarter. We're down to 3:15 remaining. Pittsburgh on a 38-yard field goal by Gary Anderson, leading 3-0.
Well, this situation, the 3rd and shorts or 3rd and mediums, are what Pittsburgh was hoping for. Now, Bill Cowher told us yesterday in our meeting that he felt like that the 3rd down play during the Week 10 game was the deciding factor, that their offense couldn't execute the 3rd downs and Buffalo's offense could, and that was the difference. But Pittsburgh has a good shot when the down and distance is only 3rd and 3.
And it is a 3rd down and 3 right here. It's Leroy Thompson on a direct snap, stopped by Jeff Wright. Little deception there by the Steelers.
Well, that's another way to run the draw play, and O'Donnell fakes like he's going back for the shotgun, and Leroy Thompson just cuts the snap off and runs it up the middle with a little cross block in there and picks up the 1st down.
Apparently they are going to check it out. They're calling for the yardsticks.
My eyes are good, Mark.
I trust you. Incidentally, Ron Earhart said the whole idea against Buffalo, which has always been your philosophy, as well, I'd never doubt you. First down is picked up. Earhart's thought is shorten the game. Obviously means keep Buffalo's offense off the field, and that is what he has been able to do here in the first quarter.
Well, I think in order to beat a team like the Buffalo Bills with a high-powered offense, not only does your defense have to go out there and stop them, but your offense has to play a little bit defensively also. It's their job to keep Buffalo from having the opportunities, and I'm sure that's the way Pittsburgh's approaching this game.
It is a 1st down at the 44. Here's Foster. Took a hit from Jeff Wright and Shane Conlon. It'll be a 3-yard pickup, 2nd down and 7 at the 41.
Little counter play with the backside guard, number 67. Duval Love pulling and trapping 53. Marcus Patton. There's a look like a face mask, but it didn't show up. It looked like Shane Conlon might have had a little grasp of the face mask, but it wasn't called, so it doesn't count.
Wasn't called, never happened.
That's right.
A 2nd down and 7. Now Leroy Thompson flanks out to the left side. Ernie Mills to the right. And O'Donnell is picked off. Intercepted by Nate Odoms. The pass intended for Ernie Mills.
One of the problems you have when you only take a 3-step drop like this, you don't elude the defenders. Number 90, Phil Hansen, gets his hand on the ball and deflects it to Nate Odoms and stops another Pittsburgh drive.
The few, the proud.
$5 for every mile over the limit.
That's $300.
You can add fast, too.
When you need money fast.
Hello, Joan.
Only Western Union can get it to 16,000 locations in minutes. Nobody else even comes close.
French 101.
Something in my heart just told me.
And biology 903.
Western Union, the fastest way to send money. And to send money by credit card from home. Call us at 1-800-CALL-CASH.
To those who still believe that only expensive luxury cars should offer standard anti-lock brakes, a driver's side airbag, and sophisticated engine technology, we think you'll come around. The Civic EX sedan from Honda.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Honda, maker of the #1 selling car in America for the last 3 model years, the Honda Accord.
All right, Bubby Brister and Neil O'Donnell chatting about that last interception, I would guess. Picked off by Nate Odoms, who had a big one last week. He had 5 in the regular season. And it's a first down at the 34. Frank Reich. And you see the penalty flags. Take your pick on that one. John Davis has come in at right guard, replacing Glenn Parker. Davis went down with a knee injury last year. Has played sparingly this season.
Number 51 on his side for the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Looked to be Jim Richer, the left guard.
You see him just jump a little bit, and Donald Evans reacts properly and knocks Richard back there, and now got a 1st and 15.
Can't hold the center. Jim Richard and John Davis at the guards. Will Wolford and Howard Ballard on the tackles. Kenneth Davis getting the call. Running to the 35, tripped up by Richard Shelton. Kenneth Davis in his 7th year from Texas Christian. Last week came on for the injured Thurman Thomas and ran for 68 yards, scored a touchdown. And there is Thurman, who has been bothered by a sore hip. 2nd down and 9. So right incomplete. Metzelar is the intended receiver, covered by Shelton. Reich is now 4 of 7 for 30 yards.
Well, that was one of those little read patterns where the tight end has an option to go in or out. And Metzelar comes off the line, and he decides to go in against Shelton, number 24. And I think Shelton might have just grabbed him a little bit, because Wright definitely thought he was going to go back to the outside on that one.
34 seconds to go. First quarter. Pittsburgh 3, Buffalo nothing. 3rd down and 9. Look out. Off the blitz. Wright goes down. Carnell Lake coming in from the strong safety position to get to the quarterback.
Number 37, Carnell Lake, comes clean there. No Buffalo offensive man sees him, and he's got a free shot at Frank Reich. And Pittsburgh has decided to mix the blitz in indiscriminately. They're going to try it, and if Buffalo can't handle it, you're going to see a lot of it. So with the success they just had, the next time maybe an extra long situation comes up, you might be able to see another blitz.
Well, Chris Moore comes on to punt, but this first quarter is over. Pittsburgh with a 3-0 lead.
Do you know the national debt is almost $4 trillion? That works out to roughly $16,000 for every man, woman, and child in the country. Even the goldfish is into somebody for 30, 40 bucks. Relax, I'll float you a loan. And with banks charging up to 19% interest on our credit cards, we're literally drowning in debt. No offense. This is the American Express card. No interest, no revolving debt. So you don't have to worry about going belly up. You're right. One too many. I didn't know he could do that.
Our 6-inch meatball sub features meatballs and sauce on bread I just baked, all for a low economical price. I won't say how low, but you'll probably find enough in the cushions of your couch.
The 6-inch meatball sub, only $1.69, only at Subway.
Outlaw. Lover. Hero. Fantastic.
Van Damme as you've never seen him before. Nowhere to Run, rated R, at theaters Friday.
This is the runaround. You get a lot of it these days instead of service. To not get the runaround, call on your Allstate agent, who promises
A tree blew down on my house.
that after talking with you about your claim,
My loblolly pine's stuck in my roof.
his claims expert will call,
Okay, I'll be right here.
usually in an hour.
Hello? Thanks for
That's why you're in good hands with Allstate.
Everyone's all right. Don't worry about the tree.
College football's best and brightest are on NBC. Rick Meyer, Shane Matthews, and the nation's top senior All-Americans. The Kodak Hula Bowl, next Saturday.
Welcome back to Three River Stadium, Pittsburgh. Marv Albert with Bill Parcells. Pittsburgh Steelers 3 and the Buffalo Bills nothing. If Pittsburgh wins, they host the AFC Championship game next Sunday, January 17th. If the wild card Bills win, they must go to Miami or San Diego. Miami and San Diego meeting tomorrow here on NBC. Rod Woodson back for Chris Moore's second punt. His first went 48 yards. Woodson let it bounce. Now the Steelers indicating that they do have it. That looked to fool Rod Woodson.
Well, I think maybe the wind got it at the last minute, and he decided to try to jump away from it, and when he did, the ball caromed over off him, but Warren Williams, number 42, was able to recover it. I think that's exactly what happened. The wind took it at the last minute. Woodson realized he couldn't get it without reaching, so he just jumped back, and it hit him, and Williams recovered.
Looked like he was trying to give it the third baseman try, just to block it, to keep it under control.
Once in a great while, a car comes along with such timeless beauty, such intrepid performance, you can't help but make predictions. What do you do when you think something is destined to be a collector's item? You put one away for safekeeping. The Mazda MX-6. Then again, who can wait that long?
Today, to grow your business beyond the expected, you go beyond your borders. But running networks between countries, writing software in many languages, and financing your projects worldwide can be tricky. IBM is at home in over 140 countries. We can steer you away from trouble and toward opportunity, just as we have for hundreds of other companies. If you're seeking your fortune in the world, there's never been a better time to do business with IBM.
Above all else, I had to win her. But should I go here or there? Or just put my pants on backwards? Would she feel it was a cosmic roller coaster to the stars? Or just a metaphysical bus ride to Palookaville? I seized the moment.
Share the six-pack. Coors Light, the right beer now.
Rod Woodson telling the Pittsburgh guys what happened there, that the ball was not a spiral and it was kind of flat like a knuckleball, and at the last minute it just died on him and he tried to get out of the way. So he's over there explaining to everybody how that fumble almost occurred.
So a first down at the 35-yard line. Steelers have had good field position. They lead 3-0 this second quarter getting underway. Play action, and O'Donnell swings it out, but it's incomplete, intended for Foster. He was defended by Patton.
Incomplete.
I mentioned the San Diego-Miami game. It's upcoming tomorrow right here on NBC. Junior Seau and his Chargers going up against Dan Marino and the Dolphins, the winner advancing to the AFC Championship game. Coverage starting with NFL Live, 3:30 Eastern Time. Bob and Will in the studio. And a special guest in our New York studio, former Chicago Bears head coach Mike Ditka will be on hand. It will be a crowded studio tomorrow. AFC Divisional playoffs continue starting 3:30 Eastern Time. Right here on NBC. Second down and 10 from the 35. An end around for Dwight Stone. And loses on the play. Darryl Talley had it diagnosed.
Well, what they try to do there is get Dwight Stone, who has the ability to score if he can ever get in the open field. It's a little bit of a gadget play. They kind of fake to Foster a little and then give it to Stone on a sweep, but Bruce Smith does a good job stringing it out, and Darryl Talley comes over and finishes them off. And when you try those kind of plays on first down and they don't work, you come up with second and third and 13s, which is just what Pittsburgh doesn't want.
Neil O'Donnell looking at a 3rd and 14 back at the 31. O'Donnell pumping and throwing and completes for the first down. Charles Davenport on the reception for 24 yards, tackled by the strong safety Henry Jones. Charles Davenport, 4th-round draft pick, rookie from North Carolina State, making the catch over the middle.
Well, Davenport just gets down the seam against the zone. Very much the same style play that Andre Reed caught for the go-ahead touchdown last week against Houston. Same style play. Ball is on time, and the safety can't get there, and it's a good completion, a big first down on 3rd and 13.
Foster running to his right, stopped by Bruce Smith. 9 carries, 39 yards for Barry Foster. The earlier meeting this season against Buffalo, Foster held in check, 22 carries, 78 yards. Buffalo winning 28-20 at Rich Stadium. Buffalo has won the last 4 against Pittsburgh. Last season, Buffalo beat Pittsburgh 52-34. This Buffalo's first visit to Three Rivers since back in 1985 when Pittsburgh came from behind and won 30-24. They were down 21-0. Greatest comeback victory in Steelers franchise history. O'Donnell's pass incomplete, intended for Mills.
Well, I think Pittsburgh's offensive play selection really has Buffalo a little bit unsettled right now. They're just indiscriminately mixing the run and pass regardless of the down and distance. You know, they've had a couple of good runs for first downs. They just hit the big 3rd down. They ran Foster off tackle. Now they come back with a little curl pattern, and they're doing a very, very good job of keeping the Buffalo defense off balance. But again, this situation of the 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 8, this is Buffalo's strength. This is when you have to contend with a guy like Bruce Smith, number 78.
It's a 3rd down and 7. And again completed for the first down. Once again, it is Davenport, who caught only 9 balls during the regular season.
Well, you can credit Neil O'Donnell for that one because he really put it in a tight spot. And, you know, that's 2 real good 3rd down throws. And I think that probably is going to dispel any worry about O'Donnell being rusty because he just made 2 real great throws. Now, you see Bruce Smith working against John Jackson here, coming inside and getting pushed down the line of scrimmage, but that play was thrown quick enough that Smith, even if he was unblocked, couldn't have got there.
Picked up 15, Foster on the slant to the 25, advance of 2. Cornelius Bennett, Darryl Talley combined to make the stop. Yes, Neil O'Donnell has looked sharp. Missed the last 3 games of the regular season with that cracked right fibula. He's been out 5 weeks. He was 9-3 as a starter, a very efficient quarterback. He has been perfect for this offense.
Well, they're not asking him to win the game. They're asking him to play within the system. Barry Foster is the guy that this offense is built around. And using him on the running game and those tight ends in the passing game.
Nice fake for the end around, and this time O'Donnell was off the mark.
That was one of those gadget plays where they fake the reverse, and you know, it's one of those all or nothing things. Either you get a touchdown or you have no place to go. They make an inside run and fake, and Bruce Smith goes for it, you see, and now O'Donnell's back there looking for a receiver, but the Buffalo secondary played very well and had it covered.
So we've seen one end around, one fake reverse. I know you seem to feel that coaches become more aggressive at playoff time, not necessarily holding up during the Super Bowl, but during the playoffs. It's a 3rd down and 8. O'Donnell could not find anybody. The ball is knocked loose, and O'Donnell covers up. Jeff Wright with the reps on Neil O'Donnell.
Well, there's a little show of inexperience on the part of O'Donnell, because one of the cardinal rules is you never get sacked out of field goal range. Now, if the receiver isn't there, don't wait for it. Just throw it away and try to kick the field goal. So I'm sure O'Donnell would like to have that one back there, because you never should be sacked out of field goal range.
Why do you feel coaches are more aggressive during the playoffs?
Well, I think you know your team a lot better. At the beginning of the year, you know your experiment. You haven't seen your team under pressure. You don't know what kind of chemistry you have. But I think by the time you play 17 or 18 games, you know exactly what you have.
Mark Royals getting the bounce on that punt. It goes for 32, and they'll place it inside the 5.
Get in line. Stay in step. Or maybe you'd rather go your own way. In which case, check out the 93 626ES from Mazda. The company that's put a twist on everything from luxury cars to roadsters. Now we've done the same to sedans. With a V6, an airbag, and ABS. The Mazda 626.
Mazda, it just feels right.
Can someone pick up my phone? Gary here.
This isn't Mr. Carey. This is his secretary. Please hold.
Federal Express, I need to check on a package fast.
Keep holding, please. I hear Mr. Carey down the hall. Your package...
Only Federal Express can confirm delivery in seconds. Other companies can take days.
That package was delivered at 9:07, signed for by Mr. Henson. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Federal Express, our most important package is yours.
So you're really giving all this up?
Who knows what's right? All I know is how I feel. And I'm feeling I missed enough of Jenny's life already. I don't want to miss any more.
You guys gonna be okay on one salary?
Actually, our broker at Payne Weber made it a little easier. When she heard I was pregnant, she got us to start investing long term to give us more options down the road.
How'd she know you were thinking about all this back then?
I'm not sure I was. Until she asked.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By Magnavox. Smart choices for smart people. The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart. By Coors Light. The silver bullet is the right beer now. And by IBM, helping your business meet new challenges.
4.5 minutes gone by, second quarter. Buffalo takes over. Thurman Thomas has made his return. Kenneth Davis played the last series. Looked like Thomas hurt his hip. He came into today with a sore hip. And during the course of that last series, they were taking care of Thomas. Buffalo starting from deep in its territory, from the 5. And Thomas trying to pick his way, but he is stopped. Marty Nickerson on the tackle of Thurman Thomas. Take a look at what Buffalo has done, and they have been kept off the field. They start from at 21, 8 plays, lose it on downs, start back at the 25, and they're 34, 3 and out.
Yeah, but for all Pittsburgh's good work, and they've done a lot of it, they only have 3 points to show for it, and I think Buffalo has kind of withstood the initial surge, and you know, you can't hold these guys down forever, and you see them get out of the end zone there with a nice in cut to Beebe, but I'm sure that the Pittsburgh coaching staff are a little concerned that they don't have more to show for all the work they've done.
So Don Beebe with his second catch of the day and a first down at the 18. Now right goes the other side. Looked like Beebe had it for an instant. It is ruled incomplete. The coverage by the right corner, D.J. Johnson. Pittsburgh leading 3-0 on a 38-yard field goal by Gary Anderson. Another look at that pass to Beebe, who was turned around and could not hang on.
Well, it looks like the Pittsburgh coaches have decided to match their corners against the Buffalo receivers and see if they can't win that battle there and use all the rest of the guys to take away Andre Reed, the tight end, and Thurman Thomas. And if that plan works, if Woodson and Johnson can hold up on Beebe and Lofton. I think the other 9 guys can take care of Reed, Thomas, and Metzelaar.
It'll be a third down and 12 back at the 16. Lofton is flanked to the right. Right goes the other side. Incomplete. Intended for Beebe. Once again covered by Johnson.
That ball was a little bit underthrown, and that's one of the more difficult things for the defense to adjust to, because number 44, DJ Johnson, has no way of knowing the ball's underthrown. You see Beebe sees it first, tries to come back, and Johnson runs up on him a little bit, but that wasn't interference. And as I said, it's going to be those corners against the Buffalo receivers, it looks like today. And if they can hold up, Pittsburgh's going to have a good chance.
Moore punting from his 1. And it carries out at midfield. It's a 37-yard punt. Pittsburgh will return to the offense.
No, Hoover, not in your mouth. Hoover.
Hang up and try your call again.
Hoover, is there anything you won't put in your mouth? Here, have a potato chip instead.
Tired of those burnt, spotted, ordinary chips? Now that Lay's has created a chip so perfectly golden, nothing less will do. Today's Lay's. One taste and you'll cash in your old chips.
Either we're safe or we're dead.
There is a place beyond fear, beyond pain, beyond the very limits of human endurance. A place where the human spirit becomes the most powerful force on Earth.
Get up and walk 10 steps!
This is the true story of 16 of the most courageous people you'll ever meet and how they stayed alive. Rated R. Starts Friday, January 15th.
Why can't van doors swing open instead of slide? Why do minivans handle like trucks? Why can't they feel more like a car? This is what the engineers at Mazda wondered when they designed the MPV. Because when you ask better questions, you tend to come up with better answers.
Why does your door do that?
The Mazda MPV.
It just feels right.
5 meters to go. Pablo goes for the ball. He reaches. He touches. He's got the goal.
July 1992. Another memorable moment from NBC Sports.
And that memorable moment with Pablo Morales, part of a series of flashbacks we'll continue to bring your way as we take a look back at a terrific year in sports. Pablo just recently named the United States Olympic Committee Sportsman of the Year. It's a first down at the 47 as Pittsburgh takes over. Barry Foster stopped by the combination of Shane Conlon and Mark Kelso. 8:20 remaining in the first half. Pittsburgh with a 3-0 lead.
Well, they've had good field position, too. You see they're starting average started possession, their own 41. But the thing that has to be encouraging for the Steelers and a little disconcerting for the Bills is Pittsburgh's ability to pick up 5 and 6 yards consistently on first down.
Second down and 5. Big opening for Foster, and another Pittsburgh first down. Shane Conlon made the stop, so Foster, 12 carries, 57 yards. He is off to a good start.
Well, whenever you get an inside run going like that, you know the inside guys are blocking well, and Dermontti Dawson, 63, 67, Duval Love doing a pretty good job on Jeff Wright and Shane Conlon inside there, and Foster has pretty good room. If Pittsburgh can do this, this will keep Buffalo off balance very well.
First down at the Buffalo 37. Foster again inside the 35, stopped by Talley and Wright. Barry Foster was named the Steelers' most valuable player about a week ago, and he took that opportunity to make the point that he has not been happy about his contract. said that he is prepared to sit out next year if Pittsburgh refuses to renegotiate his contract.
Well, the offense is built around him, and you know, there's no doubt he's a very capable NFL back, but you know, that off-season talk usually doesn't mean much.
Capable, you think? That's kind of a, that's not giving a winning endorsement, as O'Donnell had the ball knocked out of his hand. Buffalo indicating that they have covered up, and they have. The Bills recover. Phil Hansen, who has had a terrific season, was able to cover up. Bruce Smith stripped Neil O'Donnell.
Well, Bruce Smith down working against Duval Love. Now, that's a little adjustment on the part of the Buffalo defense. Every once in a while, they'll take their defensive ends and put them down on the guards, and that's what happened. You saw Smith matched up against Love, and he was able to come around the corner and create the sack and the turnover, and Buffalo has withstood 3 of these Pittsburgh surges now, and they've got to feel pretty good about the ability to do that.
Vernon Thomas on first down from the 41-yard line. 6:15 remaining in this first half. Steelers with a 3-0 lead. Second down and 6 from the 45 coming up. Buffalo Bills have given off the look of several different teams this season. Earlier, they were very explosive, on a roll. Thurman Thomas to midfield, stopped by Hardy Nickerson. Prior to the loss to Miami in Week 5, and then they hit a down period with the losses to the Colts and the Jets.
One of the key things is Kent Hull, the center right here, being able to block on the weak side in order to get that weak side running game going. Kent Hull coming out, sealing off the defensive back there. Those 3 guys able to block the weak side of the Pittsburgh defense is the whole key to the Buffalo weak side running game.
And the Steeler crowd urging the defense on, but it is a first down and more for Thomas, reaching inside the 40. Darren Perry, the rookie free safety, made the stop. Thomas running for 12 yards.
Great open field tackle by Darren Perry, but a guy like Thurman Thomas, short yardage, I always used to feel is one of the most dangerous situations for an explosive back like him, because everyone's bunched up, and if he gets a crease, he might just go all the way, and that's almost what happened there.
And he's upset that he did not go all the way. The tight end Metzelar's on the reception, and Buffalo with a good-looking drive. Metzelar's second catch of the day. Hardy Nickerson on the tackle.
One of the staples of the Buffalo offense is to clear out and bring a guy across. Sometimes they clear out with the slot man like they're doing here, bringing the tight end across. Other times they clear out with the tight end and bring Andre Reed across.
And it's Davis with another Buffalo first down. Needed 4 and picked up 14. Perry made the stop.
Well, this is a little design cutback play with the tight end coming across as the lead blocker. Metzelar's coming across, kicking out the defensive end, and Davis loose in the secondary. It's a design cutback all the way.
And the Bills have quieted this Pittsburgh crowd. Davis into the line, and he stopped for a loss.
One of the things I like about Kenneth Davis, I think he's one of the most underrated players in the National Football League. He has tailback ability, but he has a fullback mentality. He comes in, he gets the tough yards, he breaks tackles, he doesn't care what his role is. He's just in there and trying to help his team win the game. And I think this guy is one of the most underrated guys in the National Football League.
Originally a second-round draft pick of Green Bay, signed with Buffalo on Plan B back in '89. Well, the crowd trying to bother the Bills signal calling. Right off the pump. And completes for a first and goal to Don Beebe. Rod Woodson made the stop, And the Buffalo Bills are now on the doorstep, a 19-yard advance.
You can credit that completion, though, to the Buffalo pass protection because Wright wanted to go on the other side. It was completely covered. He pulled the ball down. He had plenty of time to come back and find Beebe, who had eluded Woodson to the outside. So the Buffalo pass protection is what enabled Wright to find Beebe. They had the Pittsburgh defensive players well back from the quarterback.
First and goal at the 1. Furman Thomas is back. 8th play of the drive. It's Gardner. They stack him up. And he is stopped short of the goal line as we roll to the 2-minute mark. Fast-moving first half. Pittsburgh 3, Buffalo nothing. 2 minutes remaining. We'll be back in Pittsburgh in a moment.
At Prudential Securities, we invest the time it takes to get to know you. We invest over $100,000 in training every new financial advisor who serves you. And we invest millions of dollars every year in the research and analysis that helps serve you better. Because at Prudential Securities, the most important thing we have to earn is your trust.
Those smart folks at Magnavox have asked me to tell you about all their highly intelligent products in just 15 seconds. You must be joking.
Impossible.
No way. Don't be ridiculous. The nerve. That's it. I quit.
Magnavox. Smart. Very smart.
This is crazy. This is crazy. 2 pizzas, 2 free Crazy Breads, 2 free soft drinks, all for $7.98 at Little Caesars.
Pizza. This is our vision of what a luxury sedan should be. Not because it offers rich leather and anti-lock brakes, but because it comes standard with an airbag on the driver's side and the passenger side as well. Creating the luxury sedan where even peace of mind is shared. The Mazda 929.
It just feels right.
The Chargers, led by a relentless defense fresh off a playoff shutout. The AFC West champions are the NFL's hottest team. The Dolphins, Marino, and the AFC East champions are rested and raring to go. The winners one step from the Super Bowl. The losers on vacation. The AFC Divisional playoffs continue Sunday.
Back at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, Marv Albert, Bill Parcells. The Steelers on a 38-yard field goal by Anderson lead 3-0, but the Bills second and goal from the 1. Thomas and Gardner, the running back. And Wright crosses them up. Touchdown! Mitch Farrat on the reception. He caught a touchdown pass in the regular season game against Pittsburgh back in Week 10. This is third touchdown pass of the season.
Well, it's a little deja vu for Mitch Farrat, and as you say, it's his third touchdown, but 2 of them have been against the Steelers, and they made a real hard inside fake, and on very short yardage, the defense has to commit to that inside fake, and after that play fake, Wright was able to pull it down and get it right to Farrat, who has another touchdown against the Steelers.
Mitch Farrat, who hails some 40, 50 miles away from Pittsburgh, from a town by the name of Katanning. I think has some few folks here rooting for him. 9 plays, 59 yards in 4 minutes and 26 seconds. And Buffalo with a 7-3 lead on Pittsburgh.
Get me a boat to take me there. Silver sands on a white-hot beach. All of my friends and time to spare. A cold silver bullet in my reach. Hit the place of the Rockies with a cold crisp air. A silver bullet. I'm gonna get me a boat some way, somehow. And a blue silver bullet now. Cool line, so right there now.
I do this every
every day.
9 years as of last Wednesday.
2.5 years.
A little bit under 5. I've been there 14 years.
I work in the shipping department.
I'm traffic manager.
Shipping manager. 8 years.
14 years.
10 years next October.
What overnight service would I recommend?
Of all the shipping companies?
Who would I recommend?
Coast to coast. Coast to coast. 10:30 guaranteed.
10:30 guaranteed. We use UPS.
UPS.
The best overnight delivery service is UPS.
Send it out Tuesday, it gets there Wednesday.
If they say it's 10:30, absolutely it's 10:30.
They pick up when they say they're going to, and they deliver when they say they're going to.
Anything that makes my job easier, I like.
Hey, I'm vain. Of course I'm vain. That's why I comb my hair the way I do. I stay in shape the way I do. That's why I use Power Stick.
50% more wetness and odor fighters per stroke. Power Stick by Fabergé. Power that won't let you down.
I told you I was vain.
A Department of Energy study reveals that most American homes don't have enough insulation. And that means you. To find out what's right for your home, call Owens Corning at 1-800-GET-PINK.
Hi, I'm Danny DeVito.
And I'm John Bon Jovi.
Join us this week on Saturday Night Live. John, you're from New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
Give me a ride home after the show?
Sure.
A happily married psychiatrist is seduced by a patient who could destroy the only thing he loves.
You can't get away from me.
Tim Matheson, Mind of a Killer, NBC Monday.
On the last touchdown, Mitch Farrat's lined up right here. They fake it hard inside to Gardner and slip it to Farrat after the inside fake, which Pittsburgh has to honor. Nice bit of deception by the Buffalo offense right there.
And the Bills have been throwing to the likes of Mitch Farrat, backup center, John Fina, backup offensive lineman. So Buffalo with a 7-3 lead. White Stone on the kickoff return. Going across the 20. And he was drilled by Steve Tasker. A minute 50 remaining in this first half.
On that key play in the last drive was the same one that Frank Reich had completed to the tight end, but this time the tight end right here was covered, and he comes back and finds Beebe down in the corner after the protection holds up so well. See, Reich's looking for the tight end. He can't find him. He pulls it back down and gets Beebe down to the goal line, and Woodson had kind of sloughed off after the play took so long.
The Steelers from their 22-yard line, now trailing 7-3. O'Donnell in trouble. Going sideline to Mills, and he is short of the first down, bumped out by Henry Jones. So O'Donnell is now 5 for 10, intercepted once, and he has been sacked 3 times.
What Neil O'Donnell has to be very careful of here, though, 1:43 to go in the half. You know, you've just gone down 7-3. You don't want to make the key mistake here and make it 14-3. I think if he can hit a play here and get the drive going, he'll run the 2-minute offense. But if anything looks bad, I think he'll be pretty conservative.
2nd and 3, incomplete. J.D. Williams with the strip of Ernie Mills.
The other thing you have to think about here is if you don't pick up this first down, with the way Buffalo runs plays so fast, you know, you could be giving them very good field position with enough time to get another score.
It is now a 3rd down and 3 at the 29-yard line. Buffalo Bills seeking to become the first team since the Raiders to play in 3 consecutive AFC championships. Raiders did it back in 72 through 76. O'Donnell couldn't find anyone, and nice catch made by Stone for the first down. And a penalty flag has been thrown.
Number 80, Charles Davenport, is the injured Pittsburgh player, and there's a flag that has been thrown in around him. I don't know what happened, but I did see him laying on the field, and the flag came late from the field judge, so maybe it was a roughness on the Buffalo secondary.
Referee is Bernie Kukar.
A personal foul.
It's been a penalty-free first half.
Illegal contact. Number 37 on the defense. Penalty is declined. First down.
So Nate Odom's called on the penalty, which has been declined.
Well, that's an illegal hit down the field by number 27, Clifford Hicks. You know, after the receiver goes 5 yards, you're not allowed to hit him, and he just threw a shoulder into him. Now I think you'll see O'Donnell in his 2-minute mode for sure.
So it was Hicks 27 rather than Odom's 37. And O'Donnell scrambling. Once again could not find anybody. Just tucks it in and takes it out of bounds. Chased out by Smith and Talley. Coming up, it's the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Bob Costas, O.J. Simpson, Will McDonough, John Dockery, Warren Moon on hand to bring you an analysis of the first half. And they'll also be talking with Dan Marino of the Dolphins, Junior Seau of the Chargers as they look ahead to tomorrow's game between Miami and San Diego. That's all coming up at halftime.
But with only 1:24 to go, I still don't think there's a sense of urgency here for the Steelers. They have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. They've got plenty of time to work the ball down the field in a conservative way with those 3 timeouts.
2nd and 4. That ball deflected. And going incomplete. Eric Green, the intended receiver. Crowd here looking for an interference call on the strong safety Henry Jones.
Well, Henry Jones has been a guy that's been a big part of the improvement of the Buffalo defense. He's matched up on Eric Green, and I think the Steelers would like to have that matchup all day long. But if Jones can play it that well, then Buffalo's going to have the advantage, because that's a position where I think the Steelers feel they have an edge offensively matching up against Buffalo's defense.
3rd down and 4. O'Donnell once again with the receivers covered, this time able to pick up the first down. Slides inside the 40.
Buffalo covered the play very well. And there's a little fracas down there, and the official stops the clock, but Pittsburgh uses a timeout. But Buffalo had that play well defense, and O'Donnell just took what he had and scrambled for the first down.
O'Donnell running for 16 yards.
O'Donnell looking for his receivers, can't find them, pulls it down, dodges a couple guys, gets between, tries to protect the ball, and then finally gets on the ground.
And Jones getting involved with a couple of Steelers.
Bruce Smith working against John Jackson, spins, takes a good shot from Duval Love, and it's 2-on-1 now. That's like tag team wrestling right there.
John Jackson, 5th year out of Eastern Kentucky. He's come back strong from being benched earlier in the season, reclaiming his starting position. And Duval Love, an 8-year man from UCLA, longtime member of the Los Angeles Rams. Head coach Marv Levy of the Buffalo Bills. He's made it to the Super Bowl back-to-back, but lost to your giant club and the Washington Redskins. Bills with a 7-3 lead on the Steelers. First down at the 33 in Buffalo territory. O'Donnell rifles one that is intercepted. J.D. Williams picking it off. So O'Donnell intercepted for the 2nd time today.
I think O'Donnell had his mind made up on that particular pattern. It was a 2-deep zone with the corner sinking back there, and O'Donnell just made up his mind that that's where he was going to go with the ball. And J.D. Williams just running and then releasing the receiver, and then seeing that the ball's coming, just continues on. And, you know, it's just like he was throwing at the Williams.
J.D. Williams has had his ups and downs this season. He has been the starter at left corner, with Kirby Jackson bothered by the pulled hamstring. Jackson working as a nickelback. James Williams in his 3rd year from Fresno State, a 1st-round draft pick back in 1990. And Buffalo takes over. 58 seconds to go in the first half. Here's Thomas spinning his way to the 25-yard line.
And Buffalo still has their 3 timeouts, but they don't look quite as urgent on the 2-minute offense. I think Reich is looking to get one big play down the field before he really gets into that 2-minute mode.
And here's Thomas changing direction and then tripped up. You saw the 3 turnovers committed by Pittsburgh, 2 interceptions and 1 strip of O'Donnell. And now the timeout is taken, apparently by Pittsburgh.
Well, Pittsburgh realized that Buffalo was going to just run the clock out, and I think they want to create, maybe if they can, a punt blocking opportunity for themselves, which could, you know, result in some points. That really is probably the only way that they're going to be able to realistically score any points with only 25 seconds to go. So I think that's what they're trying to set up for themselves.
Head coach Bill Cowher, 35 years of age, second youngest head coach in the NFL, and he has a very young squad. Look at the postseason experience as you compare the Bills and the Steelers.
Yeah, but he also said, and I agree with him, that the experience only means something up until the time the game starts. Experience is how you deal with the distractions. You know, the big win last week, you know, Buffalo probably did a good job dealing with that. But once the game starts, it's just a game. It's you against them. And I agree with that. I don't think experience makes any difference once the game starts.
Thurman Thomas stopped short of the first down. Clock is running down to 16 seconds. Now they stop it. And the Steelers use their final timeout with 16 seconds to go in the half.
Greg Lloyd, number 95, is in backside pursuit, comes all the way across the field and runs Thurman Thomas down. Tries to strip the ball, too, by using his right arm down on Thurman's right arm, the side he was carrying the ball on. But as I said before, I think what Pittsburgh is trying to do here, using their timeouts, is to set up a punt block opportunity. And with a little wind, you know, sometimes those snaps can be a little errant, and if it's not on the money and you got the right rush on, you have a chance.
That man grew up in Crafton, Pennsylvania, 15-minute drive to Three Rivers. So Pittsburgh area native, and he's done it under the glare of his hometown spotlight, and he's followed a legend, Chuck Noll. And the punt by Moore to Yancey Thigpen. And he handles it. Fair catch at the 27-yard line. Fourth punt by Moore goes for 46 yards. 8 seconds remaining in the half. There's Yancey Thigpen, number 82, second-year man from Winston-Salem State. And Neil O'Donnell trotting back on the Pittsburgh offense, taking over at the 27-yard line. Buffalo with a 7-3 lead, an unlikely touchdown combination. Frank Reich to the backup offensive lineman Mitch Farrat, who did catch a touchdown pass in the earlier meeting against Pittsburgh, and he's caught 3 this season. So that's the end of the first half. The Buffalo Bills with a 7-3 lead on the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh points supplied on a 38-yard field goal by Gary Anderson. That was early in the game. Right now, let's go to Bob Costas in New York for the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live halftime report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza, where you always get great pizza, plus something for nothing.
Well, Buffalo with the lead at 7-3, although Pittsburgh controls the time of possession. Those 3 turnovers really hurt him in the first half.
Buffalo side of it, critical in the second half. You can see Thurman Thomas and Bruce Smith are playing in pain. They have to stay on the field, I think, for Buffalo to win.
Unimposing numbers for Frank Reich, but as we all know, he doesn't get going in any game until the second half. What are your thoughts on Neil O'Donnell?
Well, he started off real well, made some big throws in the seam area, got some good runs for first downs, but the 2 interceptions and the fumble definitely have hurt him because it stopped drives.
Now, we heard Marv Albert and Bill Parcells mention that the Bills had gone to Mitch Farrat for a touchdown in the game against Pittsburgh in Week 10 in Buffalo, but there's a difference between the 2 plays. Take it, Warren.
Well, in Week 10, they lined up Mitch Farrat as a tight end, and they play-action pass to Kenneth Davis and released him to the flat, and they got the touchdown that way. This time today, they lined Farrat up as a running back, as a lead fullback, and this way they play-action pass this time to Gardner, and then they released him in the flat, and here he is catching the touchdown here today. So they're taking advantage of Farrat's athletic ability by moving him around a lot of different places.
It's good coaching, too, because they don't tip it. Obviously, with film study, they'd be aware of it if he lined up at tight end again.
Exactly. They use him as a lead blocker. They probably never thought they'd use him as a receiver on that play.
Okay, now, the other AFC Divisional playoff is tomorrow at Joe Robbie Stadium as the Dolphins host the Chargers. We'll have it for you beginning with NFL Live at 3:30 Eastern Time. A short while ago, I talked to Dan Marino about facing those Chargers.
Well, the Chargers are a very enthusiastic team. You can tell by looking at them on film, especially defensively. They're a team that loves the pursuit of the ball. They really are playing well together, you can tell. And for us, we just need to go out and play our game and not have the turnovers. But I have a lot of respect for them on defense. They have a couple superstar players, Leslie O'Neal and Junior Seau, who are outstanding. So we're going to have our work cut out for us.
You finish up winning the division, but in the first half of the year, you were averaging about 27, 28 points a game. In the second half, it falls to 17. What are the reasons for that?
I really think it's execution, Bob. Offensively, at the end of the year here, we haven't executed as well as we're capable of. And the biggest problem we've had is scoring points when we get close. We've been getting a lot of field goals and not scoring as many touchdowns as we would like to. We've been moving the ball well throughout the year, but not scoring the points and putting up the numbers that we should.
Dan, you got to the Super Bowl very early in your career and haven't been back. You still have many good years left, but are you beginning to think about that, the clock ticking away?
There's no doubt that, you think about the time and how long you've been playing in the league. And it's been 10 years, I've been to one Super Bowl, and you do think about, the possibilities of your career ending or what the future is. So you want to take advantage of your opportunities when you get them, and this year we have an opportunity.
Okay, we heard Dan Marino say that Junior Seau and Leslie O'Neal are a couple of superstars on the Charger defense. Standing by live with us from Miami is Junior Seau, and it doesn't take a genius to figure out, Junior, that the key to the game from your standpoint is how often you and O'Neal and maybe some of the others can get in Marino's face, if not sack him, at least throw him off his rhythm.
Most definitely, Bob. I think that we're going to have to play a good secondary game and put some pressure on him. And definitely, if you can defeat Marino, you have a good chance of beating Miami.
Warren Moon is seated alongside now. Early in the year, Houston beat you guys 27-0. Granted, it's before you got on the roll. But they're a run-and-shoot team that throws out those multiple receivers. 5 guys, they spread you out defensively. Miami, if they're hot, can do the same thing with the 2 running backs, the veteran receivers, and of course, Keith Jackson at tight end. So that could be a problem for you.
Definitely. They have a lot of threats on their side of the game. And, with Duper and Clayton on the outside, you have Jackson running up the seam. And now they have Bobby Humphrey that can run the ball or catch the ball. So it's going to be a good game.
We know how versatile you are. Is it possible you'd walk off into coverage on Keith Jackson a lot tomorrow?
It's possible. We're going to kind of mix it up, but yet we're going to stay to the same formula that we've been working with throughout the year. It's been working for us, and, we're not going to change dramatically, and we're hoping to go out there and perform well.
Last thing real quick, I know you referred to Bill Arnsparger, the much heralded defensive coordinator, almost as a father figure to you. Like any father tells his kids some bedtime stories. Has he told you about his days in Miami working on those Super Bowl teams with Shula?
No, Bill really hasn't even shown any emotion. I don't see Bill smiling more than he has throughout the year. I think he knows it's a business, and he's looking out to go out there and get a victory for the team.
Good luck tomorrow, Junior. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Bob.
Okay, Junior Seau of the Chargers. And coming up, we'll get a report from Three Rivers as we check in with O.J. and John Dockery. That's after a message from the NFL and a word from your local station.
Why be afraid if I'm not alone? Spend each and every moment searching what to believe. Coming out of the dark, I finally see the light now, and it's shining on me. I see the light, I see the light, see the light, coming out of the dark.
This is Elaine Chow with a special thank you to the National Football League, its teams, players, and owners, and to all of you who volunteer and contribute. Thanks to you, United Way will be there to help people all year long. Because of you, your local United Way is helping where help is needed most.
Sunday, meet Pinky. Don't take his picture, you might get caught. A new eyewitness video, then rip-off repairman caught in the act. Those and more, eyewitness video, NBC Sunday.
As America,
Yeah, they all look innocent enough until they start ganging up on you. Then you'll be glad you invested in the security of Jeep Grand Cherokee with all-the-time four-wheel drive, an optional V8, four-wheel anti-lock brakes, and an exclusive driver's side airbag. Because when you're outnumbered millions to one, you need all the help you can get. Test drive Jeep Grand Cherokee at your dealer now.
See your New England Jeep and Eagle dealer today.
I've seen a lot of cases where the wrong driver is charged with causing the accident.
Witnesses sometimes make mistakes. Fortunately, we know exactly what to do.
Angle of impact, skid marks, road conditions can all help prove that a witness is wrong.
If you've been wrongly charged with causing an accident, our team of investigators can prove it. We'll use their findings to get you the full compensation you deserve.
If you've been hurt in an accident, call Abrams and Berry now.
We'll make the legal system work for you.
Sybil Shepherd is telling secrets on ET tonight at 7.
Well, go ahead. Who's on first?
Newswatch 10's Gary Lay is on first with your weather, weeknights at 10:57. Gary has your first forecast. Then at 11, join Gary and the rest of the Newswatch 10 night team for everything you need for tomorrow. Remember, Gary's on first on Newswatch 10.
All right, now who's on first? Right. Okay. No.
This is the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report. Brought to you by Domino's Pizza, where you always get great pizza, plus something for nothing.
Defensive battle in Pittsburgh between the Steelers and the Bills. Buffalo up 7-3 at the half. Now, we've seen none of the sort of offense that this man, O.J. Simpson, used to supply. This is an 88-yard run by the Juice at Three Rivers in 1975. Happens to be the second longest run from scrimmage in Buffalo history. O.J. also has the longest one, a 94-yarder. That also came at the expense of the Steelers. Now, the other side of the coin, though, Juice, in the very stadium you're standing in, your only playoff game, and the Steelers stuffed you that day, holding you to 49 yards back in '74.
Well, that was an excellent football team for the Steelers. They went on to win, I think, the first of their two back-to-back Super Bowls, the first of their 4 Super Bowls, a great football team. But this Bills team is a little different. They came into the locker room quite a contrast from last week when they were down. They seemed pretty up. I asked Frank Wright, how was it out there? He says, it's tough, Juice. They're mixing up their defense. Bruce Smith said that defensively, he don't think they're going to get in the end zone today. They say they felt defensively they can control this football team. Thurman Thomas says he feels great. I asked Cornelius Bennett about his pulled hamstring. He said that he feels great. So this Buffalo Bills team is ready for a second half. How's it on your side, John Dockery?
Let me tell you, see the Steelers coming out of the locker room right now. They were relatively quiet going in, Juice, as though they were sort of in shock. They were moving the ball well. They thought their offense was fine. They don't have a plan for a lot of changes. Defensively, the Bills were doing exactly what they expected. The whole story to the Pittsburgh Steelers has been turnovers, a couple of interceptions, and the fumble. Right now, obviously, the Steelers believe they can beat the Buffalo Bills. They believe they played well in the first half, and they're just going to come out and try not to make the mistakes that hurt them in the first half. Bob Costas, back to you.
John, thanks a lot. And a reminder, we'll be here after the game with a full post-game show. Will McDonough, Warren Moon, and the rest. We'll also include Gail Gardner's look back to the memorable playoff game between the Chargers and the Dolphins 11 years ago. Those same two teams, of course, play tomorrow in Miami. We'll also get post-game interviews from Three Rivers, and we'll send it back to Marv Albert and Bill Parcells for the second half right after these messages from your local station.
Why did the Oscar-winning director of Rain Man, Diner, Good Morning Vietnam, The Natural, and Bugsy decide his next story could only be told on television? Barry Levinson's Homicide premieres after the Super Bowl on NBC. Just wait till you see it.
Empire Furniture has a big warehouse, which is why they're having a big warehouse sale. Right now, you'll save an amazing 30 to 50% during Empire Furniture's big warehouse sale. Choose from a huge selection of traditional and contemporary furnishings for your living room, bedroom, dining room, and more. Plus, you'll also find great savings on Empire's complete line of baby room furnishings and accessories. But you gotta hurry. Empire Furniture's big warehouse sale ends soon. Empire Furniture, 333 Atwell's Avenue, Providence. A Midwestern Millionaire's Misfortune on hard copy, Monday at 7.
Huge. Back at Three Rivers Stadium, Buffalo Bills with a 7-3 lead on the Pittsburgh Steelers as we head to the second half. This is Marv Alvin with Bill Parcells. As John Dockery mentioned just a moment ago, turnovers have certainly hurt the Steelers in the first half.
Well, Buffalo withstood a few of the Steelers' surges. The Steelers were in scoring position a few times. They had the fumble. That led to the Buffalo touchdown. They threw the late interception when it looked like they were going to go in for a touchdown or at least another field goal to make it 7-6. You only get a few of those scoring opportunities. I think the Steelers got to be happy with the way they've played offensively. Take those turnovers away, they could have the lead, but they don't.
Let's take a look at some of the halftime statistics. A look at the Coors Light halftime stats.
Well, Pittsburgh, 16 minutes of possession and pretty good total yardage. Everything even except that glaring turnover statistic right there. And, that's really the difference in the game right now. Pittsburgh's defense, I think, has played exceptionally well, Mark.
And Frank Reich in the first half, 8 for 13, 68 yards. The one touchdown completed to the backup offensive lineman, Mitch Farrar.
A few times they had the fumble. That led to the Buffalo touchdown. They threw the late interception when it looked like they were going to go in for a touchdown or at least another field goal to make it 7-6. You only get a few of those scoring opportunities. I think the Steelers got to be happy with the way they've played offensively. Take those turnovers away, they could have the lead, but they don't.
Let's take a look at some of the halftime statistics. A look at the Coors Light halftime stats.
Well, Pittsburgh, 16 minutes of possession and pretty good total yardage. Everything even except that glaring turnover statistic right there. And, that's really the difference in the game right now. Pittsburgh's defense, I think, has played exceptionally well, Mark.
And Frank Reich in the first half, 8 for 13, 68 yards. The one touchdown completed to the backup offensive lineman, Mitch Farrar. And Neil O'Donnell with the 2 interceptions and the fumble stripped by Bruce Smith. And that cost because that led to the Buffalo touchdown. We are set for the kickoff. Steve Christie will kick it off. Dwight Stone is the deep man. It is taken by Stone. Out to the 30. Good return by Stone. Brad Lamb ran him out of bounds. A 24-yard return. So Pittsburgh offense back on the field. The center, Dermontti Dawson. The guards, Carlton Hasselrig and Duval Love. And at the tackles, John Jackson and Tunch Ilkin. The Steelers start out from their 35-yard line. Pittsburgh Steelers with a record of 11-5 during the regular season. Won the AFC Central, earning a bye on the first weekend of the playoffs. They have home field advantage throughout the playoffs if they can continue on. Barry Foster for a short pickup. Cut off by the left defensive end, Phil Hansen.
I think the start of the third quarter, one of the things coaches always talk about at halftime is the first 5 minutes of the third quarter, to reestablish what you're trying to do, to reestablish your momentum. And I think probably Bill Cowher there talked to his Steelers about, hey, look, we've played well enough. If we hadn't made those mistakes, we'd be in good shape. But now we've got to go back and redo this whole thing again. And I'm sure offensively that's the way they're trying to start this third quarter.
Mills to the left and Thompson flanked to the right. Back to the ground for Foster. Foster has a first down. Shane Conlon and Mike Kelso combining to make the stop.
Well, this is one of the plays that is left over from the Chuck Noll era. A little draw play that the Steelers ran when Chuck Noll was the coach. It looks like a sprint out pass, and then it's a late handoff to number 29, Foster, and they really don't block the outside defensive defender there. They let him go and slip inside him on the run, and that's a play that Ron Earhart copied from Chuck Noll.
And Foster went for 17. It's Foster again, and he's tripped up back behind the line. Smith and Wright were right there.
Jeff Wright, number 91, is an outstanding nose tackle, and he's working this time against number 63, Dermontti Dawson. And Wright was offset a little to Dawson's right-hand side, and just that little bit of offset alignment enabled him to get good penetration and knock Foster down for a loss.
Jeff Wright had a strong game last week, 2 sacks against Houston. 8th-round draft pick back in '88 out of Central Missouri State. 2nd down and 12. And O'Donnell completes for the first down to Mills. Ernie Mills has been a factor. For Mills, his 4th catch of the day. He was hit by Darryl Talley.
Well, that's another one of those patterns. You see Mills on top of the screen, just going to run a little turn in, but you can credit the pass protection of the Steelers for allowing, you know, Mills the time to work in between the zone.
And it is Talley who is hurt. Buffalo Bills have been hard hit by injury. Now Talley is down. We'll take a break. Back after this.
If you think these guys are tough on each other, you should see how we tested the Oldsmobile Achieva. Because we recently pitted it against the Honda Accord and Toyota Camry. And after 100,000 miles, in an independent test, in the real world, guess who won? It's your choice.
Why would anyone stay in a place where the night lasts for 6 months?
Come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on, let me show you where it's at. Come on, let me show you where it's at.
Hey, Jay.
Got a couple of cold ones?
Hey, guys, it's the Arctic.
Cold Miller Lite, I like it like that.
Great taste and a less filling beer is pretty important, especially when you have a long evening in front of you.
Working nights is gonna kill me.
Miller Lite, it's everything you want a beer to be.
When you rent from Hertz in Florida, you get more than a great car at a great rate. The real bargain is the company behind the car. Because whatever it takes to make your vacation go smoothly, Hertz is there to make it happen. From emergency road service that's as close as a phone to free unlimited mileage. Think about it. Next time you're in Florida, wouldn't you feel better with Hertz behind you?
Hertz, we're America's wheels.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Miller Lite, an official sponsor of the NFL and Super Bowl 27. By Oldsmobile, the power of intelligent engineering. By Subway, the place where fresh is the taste. And by GTE, telecommunications consultant to the NFL.
There's Darryl Talley, who was shaken up and apparently is all right, but he has been replaced by the rookie from Penn State, 3rd-round draft pick Keith Goganis. First down at the 37th in Buffalo territory. Foster going wide. Reaches to the 30-yard line. Marcus Patton made the stop.
Well, you see very few inside running plays for the Steelers today. Good blocking, lead block by Merle Hodge, gets a good block on Patton, which creates the corner for Foster, who comes around, and Bennett's is able to come over and make the tackle. But when you can pick up 7 on first down, you're in pretty good shape on the running game.
Harry Foster having an outstanding regular season, 1,690 yards, second behind Emmitt Smith of Dallas. Off the fake, and a penalty flag has been thrown. So Foster stopped by Talley, who checked back in. Goganis in there for that one play. And the face mask indicated against Pittsburgh.
That's a very unusual penalty to incur when you're on offense. Most of the time, any face mask infractions occur defensively, but occasionally your blocker may put his hands up under a defensive player's face mask in an attempt to block him and push him, and that's probably what happened.
Illegal use of hands. Number 86 on the offense, grabbing the face mask of the defender. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
That's the tight end, Eric Green. First penalty called on the Steelers this afternoon.
On the left side of the screen, Eric Green, number 86, just has his right arm on Darryl Talley's face mask, and of course Talley's making the call for the official, as most of the guys do when they get the face mask. They give the signal also.
Sets it back to a 2nd and 9 at the Buffalo 36. 4 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Again, the fake on the end around, and it was nearly picked off. Talley had a shot at it.
Well, that was another one of those trick plays where they were faking a sweep and a reverse, and you see Bruce Smith there with that rib that he's had for a couple of weeks now, and
he's been playing with a flak jacket. He's played hurt the last few weeks.
Here he's working against Duval Love and comes clean and just makes a sack on O'Donnell there, and apparently torques himself some way to affect his ribs. And
getting around town, nothing outperforms your phone. So make the call before you make the drive.
Are you looking for a car with exceptional value? Because the Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme Special Edition has got a V6, 4-speed automatic, air, cruise control, tilt wheel, power windows and locks, AM/FM cassette, and lots of other neat stuff. And it costs only $15,995. Well, you probably want to get back to the game. It's your money.
The defense calls Rebecca Carlson.
You cannot get away with murder.
You don't have probable cause.
Sure I do. Marcia's will leaves all $8 million to your client.
The whole situation was unnatural. He couldn't handle it.
She got off under control. Walk away.
They can't wait to convict me.
All you need is a reasonable doubt.
Body of Evidence. Rated R. Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
Well, Bruce Smith hurt the ribs once again. And he's been replaced by Mike Lodish. So Smith to the sideline. It's a 3rd down and 9 for O'Donnell. And it's broken up. Nate Odoms getting in front of the intended receiver, Yancey Thigpen.
That play was well defensed by Nate Odoms. O'Donnell trying to find his receiver. Eventually goes to number 82, Thigpen, but Odoms gets there right on time and makes the good defensive play and forces Pittsburgh into the punting situation.
Well, with Jeff Graham playing with a sprained ankle, or coming into today with a sprained ankle, we have seen Ernie Mills and Charles Davenport and Yancey Thigpen as intended receivers. Henry Jones let that one go by. Carries to the end zone. 36-yard punt. 10:44 remaining. 3rd quarter.
Oldsmobile presents You Make the Call. Seeking to conserve time on the clock, a member of the Bengals punt return team kicks the ball out of bounds to stop the clock. Now you make the call. Is this a legal tactic?
So, you're buying a new car. Well, did you know that in a recent dependability study, the Oldsmobile 88 was unsurpassed by either? In fact, after 2 years, it was as problem-free as BMW. It was even unsurpassed by Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, we know. It's your money.
What call did you make? It is never legal for any player to deliberately kick any loose ball except as a punt, drop kick, or placement. This is not a legal play. Assess the Bengals a 10-yard penalty for deliberately kicking a loose ball.
Our 6-inch meatball sub features meatballs and sauce on bread I just baked, all for a low economical price. I won't say how low, but you'll probably find enough in the cushions of your couch.
The 6-inch meatball sub, only $1.69, only at Subway.
I shampoo for dandruff, but my scalp still itches.
Now there's Scalpicin for deep scalp itch, not ordinary dandruff. It's clear liquid, not shampoo. With itch medicine doctors chose over these dandruff shampoo formulas.
The itch is gone.
Scalpicin.
Rod Woodson on the Pittsburgh sideline, replaced by Sammy Walker. Rod Woodson took a blow to the head earlier, and they are checking for a concussion, so he'll sit out, at least for the moment.
Well, two of the big weapons for both teams, Bruce Smith on one side and Rod Woodson, number 26, you see there on the other side, are now on the sidelines, and that forces Sammy Walker, number 23, out there on Don Beebe, and he's the one that had all the problems with Beebe in the game up in Buffalo.
Thurman Thomas gets the call. Yes, Sammy Walker had a very difficult time with Beebe in that earlier meeting, this back in week number 10.
Well, this set up a lot of the catches, even though Beebe dropped this pass here. It set up a lot of the short patterns against Walker the rest of the day. Beebe catching a short hitch pattern and then a couple of out patterns to keep the third down going. And I'm sure that Frank Reich eventually will go over there and test Sammy Walker.
Reich going to Kenneth Davis, who picked up that first down. Buffalo first down from their 38-yard line. The Bills 7 and the Steelers 3. 5 minutes gone by in the third quarter. Right for the injured Jim Kelly, coming off the miraculous cut-from-behind victory last week against Houston. No sideline, and he completes to James Lofton. For Lofton, his first catch of the day.
Well, it didn't take long for Reich to decide to test Sammy Walker. He has a pretty good cushion on James Lofton, number 80. You see Walker working and Lofton just hitching up and then turning up for the first down. But I think that this matchup can be controlled a little bit if they use a little two-deep zone to help Walker from time to time.
First down at midfield. Acceleration by Davis. He advanced it 3 yards. Greg Lloyd made the stop. A 2nd and 7 at the 47. Buffalo Bills finished the regular season at 11 and 5. In the wild card last week, pulled off the dramatic comeback, the greatest in NFL history. And the flags are thrown. Look to be the left tackle, Will Wolford. If the Buffalo Bills...
Number 69 on the offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
So it is Wolford called.
See him on the left side of the screen there. Wolford, now I'm pretty sure that was a running play. He was anticipating a quick count, and he didn't get it, and that's why he was offside.
2nd and 11 from the 43-yard line, and it's broken up. Lofton picked from behind by Walker, but a flag thrown. So they are going right at Sammy Walker.
Well, I think the Buffalo passing game is going to be restricted to that side of the field, until
defensive pass interference, number 23, first down.
Until Sammy Walker proves he can do something about it. Now there's James Lofton hooking up. Walker just a little early on Lofton's back. You know, that call could go either way. That's pretty well defense, but it didn't go for Walker this time, and I'm sure Wright's going to stay on him.
First down at the 38-yard line, back to the ground. Thomas inside the 35. Sammy Walker is a second-year player out of Texas Tech. Last year as a rookie was set back by a knee problem and had a very long afternoon in trying to cover Don Beebe during the regular season. He is in there right now with Rod Woodson forced to the sideline after taking a blow to the head. 8 minutes remaining in this third quarter. 2nd and 6 at the Pittsburgh 34. Throwing deep for Lofton. Incomplete. He was covered by the free safety, the rookie Darren Perry.
Darren Perry is a guy that's come in and played well for the Steelers, a rookie. It's unusual that a rookie can come in and start at free safety. I think it's probably the most complicated position in the secondary. You got to kind of be the field general back there, making sure everyone else gets the call. And it's a little unusual, and to Darren Perry's credit, that he's able to come in here and fill the spot left by Thomas Everett when he was training for the Dallas Cowboys.
7th play of the drive, 3rd down, and the 6th. It's a first down picked up by Beebe. Sideline pattern. And Beebe covered by Walker. Makes his 4th catch of the day.
Well, Frank Wright just knows where to go with the ball, and this is a blitz situation. Pittsburgh trying to get a little pressure, but Thurman Thomas steps up and blocks Nickerson well, and it's one-on-one outside. And again, not to beat a dead horse, but they're going to go at Sammy Walker until he can do something about it.
Beebe to the right, Lofton left. There's Thomas.
In fact, this whole game plan since Rod Woodson has gone out has consisted of runs up the middle and throws at Sammy Walker, with the exception of the one long pass to James Lofton. The whole Buffalo play selection has just been up the middle on the running game and outside on the right side towards Sammy Walker in the passing game.
2nd and 8 at the 23. Again, Lofton to the right. Beebe left. Thomas stopped by the combination of Lloyd and Shelton.
That's a situation, I think, where Pittsburgh was anticipating pass and ran a blitz, and they happened to run right into the running play that Buffalo had called. But again, this creates the matchup again. 3rd down and long. They're in field goal range, and I would keep my eye on James Lofton if I were the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Lofton to the right. Andre Reed, who has been silent to this point, from the slot left side, again to the right, and it's Thomas out of the backfield, cutting for the first down, gets inside the 15.
Well, this time, Buffalo has the screen set up, long yardage, good play call. They get their best guy in the open field with some blockers in front of them. Good block by number 74, Glenn Parker there, and they're able to pick up the first down.
Thurman Thomas running it down to the 14-yard line. We come up on 5 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Buffalo 7. Pittsburgh 3. First down at the 14.
And Pittsburgh has just changed their defense to their basic 3-4, and Frank Wright is having to call an audible against it. He doesn't get it done on time, so he has to call a timeout. Or as a delay of game rather than the timeout. But that was all caused by Pittsburgh changing their defensive scheme and putting their basic 3-4 scheme back in the game.
Marv Levy now looking at a 1st and 15 back at the 19. Delay of game penalty assessed on Buffalo. Here's Davis. Short advance for Kenneth Davis. Gerald Williams and Hardy Nickerson combined to make the stop.
Well, Bill Cowher, you know, knowing that his defense is being tested here, has put his best starting defensive players, with the exception of Woodson, back on the field. Now they have number 24, Richard Shelton, playing instead of Sammy Walker at left corner.
2nd and 13, and Wright's pass almost intercepted. It was Shelton who had a shot at it. The pass intended for BB.
Well, Wright, of course, anticipating Walker still being out there, and Shelton sits down on this pattern just a little bit and anticipates Wright's throwing it, and just comes up and almost makes the interception.
Richard Shelton in his 3rd year out of Liberty, originally an 11th round draft pick of Denver, played a bit with Montreal in the World League. 13th play of this drive, the drive that began at Buffalo's 20-yard line. It's lasted for 6 minutes. Right throwing, touchdown, James Lofton. He beat Sammy Walker. So James Lofton, who was not a target earlier in the day, comes up with his 2nd catch, this one for the score. James Lofton, a player who had some dropsy problems earlier this season. And he puts up the 6. 13 plays, 80 yards. And here is Steve Christie. The Buffalo Bills have now taken a 14-3 lead on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, James Laughlin just working one-on-one. Eludes Walker to the outside. Walker loses his balance. Wright just lays it over his head. It's a touchdown for Buffalo, and this is going to force Pittsburgh to open up their offense.
Mind readers communicating with other minds. The next slide, please. Powerful messages.
Come on! You think what I'm thinking? You know I am.
Come on, let me show you where it's at.
When you're thinking great taste and a less filling beer, Miller Lite's everything you want a beer to be.
No. We don't come here often.
Hexina's Rules of Dating. Number 5. Always practice safe sex.
Should I be using some sort of protection?
Hexed. Rated R. At theaters January 22nd.
Next time you're dining out, ponder this. The Discover card pays you a cashback bonus on every meal you charge, which means you shall soon acquire a small fortune. It pays to Discover.
2 years ago, the editors of Consumer's Digest named a very special car to their Best Buy list. Last year, they did it again. So this year, it was a great honor when they did it for a 3rd year running. Which means there are now Best Buys and consistently Best Buys. It's your choice.
Here's just some of the exciting action from the Skills Challenge. The inaugural Skills Challenge, presented by Enterprise Rent-A-Car, January 23rd on NBC.
The Buffalo Bills with a 14-3 lead as they kick it off. And it's taken by one of the up men, Yancey Thigpen. Returns across the 25, Mark Pike on the stop. 3:52 remaining in the 3rd.
I'm Chief Financial Officer.
I'm a vice president.
I'm the president.
I'm a penny pincher.
We pinch pennies.
We own the place.
I'm an accountant.
I make all the financial decisions.
If it's a nickel, I want it.
Sure, it's only money.
But it's my money. Buck saved is a buck earned.
Absolutely.
Just trying to see if we get more bang for the buck. What overnight service would I recommend?
UPS.
UPS.
Saves us a lot of money.
Probably 20 to 30%.
30, 40%. Easily 40%.
You bet we can save 40%.
1030 guaranteed.
UPS.
UPS.
United Parcel. They give you the best service for the best dollars.
How can you beat that?
It's 30 below. You've got a cold, cough. You've got a real problem.
We've added the leading cough suppressant to the proven cold relief of Alka-Seltzer Plus.
I have no sneezes, no coughs, no runny nose. I took Alka-Seltzer Plus cold and cough this morning.
Alka-Seltzer Plus cold and cough. It's tough medicine.
With Russ Beeler's in-laws in town, he served KFC Super Value Buckets. Get 15 pieces of original recipe or a bucket full of hot wing pieces. The KFC Super Value Buckets, just $9.99 each.
We do chicken right.
To get rid of her gray, my wife can spend 40 minutes. But I discovered the 5-minute hair coloring.
The revolutionary discovery called Just for Men from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply Just for Men and in 5 minutes shampoo out.
Gray is blended away. The look of my natural color is back in 5 minutes. That was me, and it won't fade or wash out.
My hair takes forever, but you look great in just 5 minutes.
The look of your natural color in just 5 minutes with Just for Men.
The Chargers, led by a relentless defense, fresh off a playoff shutout. The AFC West champions are the NFL's hottest team. The Dolphins, Marino, and the AFC East champions are rested and raring to go. The winners one step from the Super Bowl. The losers on vacation. The AFC Divisional playoffs continue Sunday. Pittsburgh Steelers offensive coordinator Ron Earhart, does he begin to open things up right here?
Well, I don't think you take any unnecessary chances, but you need 2 scores, and you're going to have to get them. You know, you're going to have to get one of them pretty soon. So I think you'll see a spread-out offense from Ron right now.
Steelers from the 27, screen developing for Foster. Harry Foster with the first down. Phil Hansen made the stop. First reception on the day for Foster.
Well, I think that's a good play selection. Buffalo in a pass rush mode. After they get the lead, start with a screen. You catch a zone defense there. Foster runs through number 58, Shane Conlon, and Hansen comes over and makes the play. But that's a good way to start your offense.
Bills left, Thompson right. First down from the 38. And Bills with a first down catch at midfield in front of Nate Odom. Looked like Neil O'Donnell was hurt.
I don't think he's coming out unless they have to come and carry him off, though, Marv. He sets and throws a little outcut there and may hit his hand on Duval Love's shoulder pad. But he's not coming out for a little hurt finger here.
He has a first down at midfield. Raw play, Foster with beautiful spinning moves and has a first down inside the 40. Mark Kelso up from the free safety position to make the stop.
That's just an unbelievable run by Barry Foster there. They don't have anybody block. There's all the Buffalo guys right in his way. He just spins and does a 360 and comes out of the pile and breaks a few tackles and comes down the field and gets the first down on his own. That's just unbelievable running by Barry Foster.
Bruce Smith, who hurt his ribs early in this third quarter, is on the sideline. Keith Willis playing up front with Phil Hansen and Jeff Wright. And O'Donnell's pass incomplete. Penalty marker down. Interference on J.D. Williams. The pass intended for Ernie Mills.
That was a late flag. Came from the field judge. The guy on the sideline who saw the play didn't call it.
Defensive pass interference, number 29, first down.
You know, if you're not allowed to do what Williams did there, then I don't think you can really play pass defense, because I didn't see him do anything wrong. I mean, you got to let these defensive backs do something.
It sets it as a first down at the 21-yard line. Foster, the lone deep back. That's Stone in motion. Foster. So he has gone over the 100-yard mark. Stopped by Hansen and Patton.
Well, here's that pass interference again. Ernie Mills, number 89, working inside. There's Williams. Now, as I said, if you can't do that, then you might as well have nobody out there and just throw it against the air, because that was good pass defense by J.D. Williams.
Somehow I get the feeling that there were officials on the sideline over the years that heard that very explanation. 2nd down and 4. O'Donnell throwing for the end zone. He had the tight end Eric Green in the area. We're told from the Buffalo sideline that the Bills do expect that Bruce Smith will be able to return.
Well, that would be a big help to the Bills, but I'm certain that the Steelers would rather have it that Rod Woodson were able to return the way this has been going. Right now, this 3rd down right here, I think, is the biggest play of the game for the Steelers to this point. They need to keep this drive going and get it in for a touchdown rather than having to settle for a field goal or a 4th down play.
Minute 10 left, 3rd quarter. It is a 3rd and 4 at the 15, and O'Donnell goes incomplete, broken up by Odoms. Good play in front of Mills. Nate Odoms has been outstanding right throughout.
Well, Nate Odoms anticipated that slant cut by Mills. It's the same play on the other side. And now Odoms is there a little early. Now, if you want to call pass defense, pass interference, you might have called it on that play, but not on the other one that Williams had. Pittsburgh settling for the field goal here.
32-yard attempt. Earlier, Anderson, a one-time Buffalo Bill, hit from 38, and the snap was fumbled. Mark Royals is brought down by Marcus Patton. Well, last week, the Buffalo Bills going up against the Houston Oilers saw the miscue on the snap by the punter, Greg Montgomery, and here Mark Royals fields a low snap and could not find the handle.
Well, you know, in the statistics, that's not going to be called a turnover, but it's the same as a turnover. So Pittsburgh's been in the scoring zone now 3 times, and they've lost their last 3 opportunities by turning the ball over. 1 fumble, 1 interception, and this fumbled snap on the field goal.
And remember, this is a Pittsburgh club that has struggled offensively in the latter portion of the season. McKellar takes the hit from Nickerson. Keith McKellar, the tight end, coming up with his first reception. And Rod Woodson back on the field. Sammy Walker back to the bench.
Pittsburgh's defense is going to have to do something to give their offense a chance to win this game. They've played very, very well on defense all game, but they haven't been able to create that big play defensively other than that early 4th down stop that got the Steelers the first field goal.
Huge turnaround play as you watch Davis pick up yardage on the slant. Richard Shelton with the opportunity for the interception. Had a clear field in front of him, but could not hold on.
Well, a few plays or a few little things always make these playoff games go one or the other. That dropped interception, that fumble field goal snap are 2 of those kind of plays.
3rd quarter is over. We'll be back after this from your local station.
Sunday, one show has it all.
Everybody freeze!
Dramas based on actual cases.
No!
A new case from their files. Secret Service, NBC Sunday.
Hi, I'm John Conti from Smithfield Nissan, New England's fastest growing Nissan dealer. If you're looking for a new car or truck, come in and check out our holiday specials. Why are they holiday specials? Because there's no down payment. Listen to this. A 93 Sentra sports sedan, only $145 per month, no down payment. Or a 93 pickup truck, only $155 per month, no down payment. So if you're looking for low payments and no down payment, stop in and see me, John Conti, the new kid on the block at Smithfield Nissan on Route 116 Smithfield.
Looking for a new direction, gotta make a plan. It's time to make my move.
Train for the jobs of the future today at New England Tech. Choose from 17 exciting career programs. New England Tech, for over 50 years, the leader in technical career education.
The answer to my future. Without a plan, where will I be?
Don't wait. Call New England Tech at 467-7744 today. 467-7744.
Gentlemen, he is not a happy man. This Mercury Villager is outselling our minivan, and as his top design team, we have to do something about it. He wants a minivan with a sliding rear seat and standard anti-lock brakes. He wants a minivan that is fully equipped, comfortable, and drives like a Mercury.
Why doesn't he just get a Villager?
The new front-wheel drive Mercury Villager. All this and the quality of a Mercury.
Bell room.
Providence Mayor Vincent Cianci, Sunday morning at 10.
Bruce Smith making his way back out of the field. I'm told he was x-rayed back in the locker room. Looked like he re-injured his ribs. The Bills expect that he will return. Fourth quarter is underway. Third down 7 as we pick it up. Buffalo from its 34-yard line. McKellar for the first down. Keith McKellar. Good run after the catch, bringing inside the 45. Richard Shelton brought him down. That's a 23-yard pickup.
Well, Keith McKellar working against number 24, Richard Shelton. Runs a little bow out pattern there. Wright puts it there right on time. McKellar gets to turn up with it at 245 pounds. He's hard to wrestle down. It takes a couple of them, and now Buffalo's threatening to make it real difficult on Pittsburgh if they can put one more score up on the board right now.
The Bills 14, the Steelers 3 as we get started in the fourth quarter. Vernon Thomas for a short pickup. Aaron Jones made the stop. Thomas 17 carries, 51 yards. Now they've removed the shoulder pads of Bruce Smith. See the flak jacket to protect the cracked ribs.
Well, by the time he gets dressed and undressed, though, the game might be over. Yes.
We've been wearing one of those flak jackets to our broadcast, Bill. It is intended for BB.
I can tell you, if Bruce Smith was on my team, I'd have more than one guy dressing him over there. There's one guy there kind of help him. I'd have a whole crew over there trying to get him ready to go with that flak jacket, put his shirt and his helmet back on, and get him up to the sideline and stand him right next to me. That's what I'd be doing.
Well, BB made the catch, picks up a third down and 2 at the 35. Down the middle. Once again, it's Don Beebe, this time for 14, and that is his 6th catch of the day.
Well, as we said, it's the Buffalo wideouts against the Pittsburgh corners, and that was probably going to be the determining factor in the game, and so far, you have to give the big edge to the Buffalo wideouts because they're starting to put up some numbers and some touchdowns now.
Don Beebe last year had the finest day of his NFL career against Pittsburgh, scoring 4 touchdowns. Earlier this season against Pittsburgh, 8 receptions, 101 yards. Vernon Thomas. Loss of a yard on the play. It's a 2nd and 11 at the 22.
Pittsburgh has done a very good job against the Buffalo running game. Buffalo hasn't managed to really have a lot of consistency in the running game, so that's an improvement from the first time they met. But right now, the passing game, again, has been won by the Buffalo receivers against the Pittsburgh defenders.
Lofton to the left. Reed in the slot left, Beebe right. End around for Reed, and he's hit for the loss. Reed has not been able to get into it today. He had been complaining that he was out of the offense, certainly back into it last week against Houston. 8 catches, 3 touchdowns, but they have not been able to go his way this afternoon.
Well, both teams have tried a couple of gimmick plays, and really all of them have backfired today. And you know, the fans like to see those wide open reverses and reverse passes. Well, you've seen about 6 of them today, and all of them have resulted in bad plays.
You say that with glee as one who has not been a great fan of the deceptive style of football. Here's Thomas on the inside handoff to the 25-yard line.
Well, Marv Levy trying to get the ball back in field goal range. Good play selection there with the draw, and he's just trying to put the ball in front of the goal post and trying to go up 17-3.
And Steve Christie will attempt from 42 yards out. Last week, his 32-yard field goal in overtime, only the 2nd game winner of his NFL career. Frank Wright puts it down. And Christie is right on target. Officially, they are calling it a 43-yard field goal. The Bills now lead 17-3.
It couldn't have happened at a worse time for us. That's the week that we take more catalog orders on our 800 number than any other week of the year. No one could make it into work that day. AT&T saved the day for us.
We had designed their 800 service with such powerful backup features that within minutes, they were able to reroute their calls to other sites around the country. They did a full day of Christmas season business, and no one was there.
If you have a business that lives and dies by an 800 service, you go with the most reliable, and that's AT&T.
No, Hoover, not in your mouth. Hoover.
Hang up and try your call again.
Hoover, is there anything you won't put in your mouth? Here, have a potato chip instead.
Tired of those burnt, spotted, ordinary chips? Now that Lay's has created a chip so perfectly golden, nothing less will do. Today's Lay's. One taste and you'll cash in your old chips.
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by the heartbeat of America, Chevrolet, and your local Chevy dealer. By Lay's Potato Chips. One taste and you'll cash in your old chips. By AT&T, the right choice. And by Federal Express. For documents, packages, and freight worldwide, our most important package is yours.
Marv Albert, Bill Parcells from Pittsburgh, where the Bills now lead the Steelers by the score of 17-3. White Stone on the return. And he's hit down from behind by Carwell Gardner. Gardner in a foot race chasing him down. Well, the tight ends have been very quiet this afternoon. Steelers not looking for the combination of Adrian Cooper and Eric Green until the 3rd quarter. Eric Green, early in the season, bothered by a shoulder problem, then served a 6-week suspension for drug use. So they have not been effective in recent weeks.
You know, that's always been a staple of Ronnie Earhart's pass offense, and I'm sure as this offense has to open up, these tight ends will be a factor pretty quick.
Swing pass for Foster, and he is tackled behind the line by Marcus Patton. Bruce Smith has returned, although in obvious pain, re-aggravating the rib problem, but Smith is back on the field.
Well, it's going to be mostly pass for Pittsburgh now because the time is definitely a factor with 9:35 to go in the game and needing 2 scores. I think Pittsburgh cannot afford to just methodically drive the ball for one of those scores. They've got to get it down the field and into the end zone very quickly.
It's a 2nd down and 14 from the 19. O'Donnell could not find anyone. Blitz with Mills for a 1st down. Ernie Mills has been his favorite target. That's his 6th catch of the day. Odoms and Williams on the coverage.
Well, the initial coverage by Buffalo was good, but again, the pass protection on both sides has been very good today and enables O'Donnell to pull the ball down and get it out to Mills on the sideline. Then he gets out of bounds, which is good also because it stops the clock temporarily.
Just under 9 minutes remaining 4th quarter. The Steelers first down from their 36. Swing pass for the running back, Foster. And he is stopped at the line by Talley. Well, I mentioned earlier that this, and it looks like there is a player down injured. John Jackson, the left tackle, is hurt.
He's pulling out for the screen. You know, they usually put some linemen in front of the defenders. Talley comes up and just beats Dermontti Dawson to Barry Foster and makes a good job, good tackle in the open field.
Domino's presents Something for Nothing.
Something for nothing. It's really something. Really something when you call Domino's. Pick up the phone and you will see that Domino's has always something for free.
Now, free Domino's Twisty Bread and our free salad with any large pizza, 1 or more toppings. Delivered hot and fresh in 30 minutes guaranteed for nothing.
Something for nothing when you call Domino's.
Go ahead, Marcy. It's easy.
But, sir, I can't ski. Are they practicing for the Olympic Shepherdess Slalom? No. MetLife will do almost anything to make sure customer claims are paid promptly. Get Met. It pays.
This man has 2 of the fastest feet in the world, but even they can't pump a brake as fast as this Chevy Cavalier's standard anti-lock brake system.
Oh, yeah?
Without ABS, no matter how fast your feet are, this can happen.
Whoa!
But to help you stop and steer on slippery surfaces, Cavalier's anti-lock brakes pump on and off up to 15 times a second.
Yeah, but can they do this?
The safety of ABS. What else would you expect from the heartbeat of America?
The NFL on NBC is brought to you by Domino's. Call Domino's Pizza now, and you'll be enjoying free Twisty Bread and a free garden fresh salad with a large 1-topping pizza when the game is over.
John Jackson, the injured player, he was coming out to try to help on the screen pass, and he jumped up in the air. You see him to the right of the screen there, number 65, and it looks like Foster may trap his leg, but then Jackson just jumps over the pile and gets hit by number 55, Mark Maddox, and it just never gets up from it.
And they continue to check over the left tackle, John Jackson. 8.5 remaining in this fourth quarter. A reminder, tomorrow the AFC Divisional playoffs continue. Junior Seau on the left, Dan Marino on the right. San Diego and Miami, the winner advancing to the AFC title game next Sunday against the winner of our game. Coverage begins with NFL Live starting 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Bob and Will in the studio, O.J. Simpson and Todd Christensen reporting from Miami, and a special guest in the studio, former Chicago Bears head coach Mike Ditka. That'll be tomorrow starting 3:30 Eastern Time. Pittsburgh Steelers very concerned about their teammate John Jackson as they bring out the stretcher. John Jackson will be very carefully placed on the stretcher. Bill, we've seen too much of this year. We did the game that saw Dennis Byrd go down.
Well, I think, yeah, we have seen too much of it, and I think all the doctors around the league, and rightfully so, are exercising every precaution in the case of any injury that looks like it may be serious in nature. I think they're taking every precautionary measure until they determine exactly what happened.
And not to suggest the seriousness of this when we talk about the Dennis Byrd injury. Here's another look at what took place.
Well, Jackson's coming out on the right of the screen. He looks fine right there. Okay, now I don't really think he gets his leg caught under Foster. I think he gets hit by number 55, Maddox, while he's up in the air. And whatever happened to him, I think happened while he was up in the air and being hit by Maddox.
So they are very carefully looking to place John Jackson on the stretcher. 8.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Bills lead the Steelers by the score of 17-3. You called it at the time. If we were to focus in on one key play, it would be that near interception right here. Richard Shelton had a shot at this, but could not hold on.
Well, the score 7-3, and it could have easily been 10-7. Pittsburgh, had Richard Shelton been able to come up with that interception and return it for the touchdown, but he wasn't able to, and then Lofton caught the ensuing touchdown, and 14-3, and then another field goal, 17-3 with 8:30 to go, and Pittsburgh's got to go the length of the field twice to even tie the game. And you know, those little things, those drop balls, those fumbled snaps, being sacked out of field goal range, when you add them all up, at the end of the day, that's why you lost the game. It's not just one play. It's all of those things together.
14-point swing on that near interception, though, by Richard Shelton. Pittsburgh Steelers going through a down period offensively toward the end of the season. Last 4 weeks of the regular season, they struggled in that department. They squeaked by Seattle. They lost at Chicago, lost to Minnesota for their only home loss, losing to the Vikings 6-3, then beat Cleveland on the final day of the regular season. That led to the bye week, and they've managed only 3 points here against the Bills.
Yeah, but their problem has not been being in the scoring zone. If you look at the yardage right now, there's only 14 yards difference. One team has 17 points and the other team has 3. Pittsburgh has 228 yards, Buffalo 242. Pittsburgh has been inside the scoring zone 5 times, but they've only scored once.
It was Gary Anderson on a 38-yard field goal in the first quarter to get the Steelers to the early lead, but then Buffalo came back second quarter right with a 1-yard pass. It was a 2nd and goal at the 1, and he was able to connect with Mitch Farrat, backup offensive lineman, who had scored 2 touchdowns during the regular season. That made it 7-3 Bills. Reich on a 17-yard touchdown pass in the third quarter, hooking up with James Lofton, extending to 14-3, and a 43-yard field goal by Steve Cresty here in the fourth quarter, giving Buffalo a 17-3 lead. Well, they brought the ambulance onto the field. Many Buffalo Bill players over showing their concern. For those who may have just tuned in or joined us a little bit late, John Jackson, several minutes ago, injured on the play. John Jackson, the left tackle of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They brought out the stretcher, the ambulance driven out of the field, and now John Jackson is being taken via the ambulance to a local hospital. Eight minutes and 30 seconds to go in this fourth quarter, and the Bills in command by the score of 17-3 as they very carefully place John Jackson into the ambulance. Justin Strelzik, number 73, will come on replacing Jackson at the left tackle position.
Well, Strelzik is a guy that's been with Pittsburgh for a couple of years. He plays both sides, plays both tackles, and when you're a backup offensive lineman, you know, you have to be ready to come in, play guard, play tackle, play the right side, play the left side, and you know, people don't realize how much preparation a guy like Justin Strelzik has to do to get ready for the game, because he knows he may go in at one of several positions, and if that's the case, he has to study all the different guys, not just Bruce Smith, but he has to go on the other side and study the guy he's going to be blocking over there and do a little extra work. So sometimes the backups don't even get the time in practice to work with the first group, but they have to be prepared to really do more than the regulars.
I saw the shot of Bruce Smith, the man who has faced John Jackson right throughout the game, extending his wishes.
Well, there's always a common bond in the National Football League. All the players on both teams, anytime something of this nature happens, I think they all kind of have the same feelings about the injuries.
Well, if we do get a report before leaving the air, we will certainly pass it on as John Jackson is headed to a local hospital. And we are set to resume. How does that affect both these clubs?
I don't think it affects them. I don't think it affects them. Players are trained to play, and, you know, the next play is going now, and everybody's active again.
And on that first play, O'Donnell able to connect with Ernie Mills.
O'Donnell rolls out to his right, trying to get himself a little more time, and spots Mills standing on the sideline, and Mills makes a nice catch and is able to keep his feet down inbounds. But as I said, Pittsburgh has not got time to methodically drive the ball down the field. They've got to get some chunks of yardage and into the end zone pretty quickly.
It's a first down at the 47. White Stone could not hold on. Covered by Kirby Jackson. It'll be a 2nd and 10 at the 47. The Bills 17, the Steelers 3 with 7:46 remaining in this fourth quarter. If the Bills hold on and beat the Steelers, they will have to go to either Miami or San Diego for the AFC championship game. A win for Pittsburgh, which would mean a come from behind situation here. They would host the AFC championship game next Sunday. It is broken up again, intended for Stone. The crowd looking for a call. Will not get it. Clifford Hicks on the cover.
Clifford Hicks there just a little early, but ball thrown over the middle of the field. Number 27, Hicks. Releases on to Stone just as the ball gets there. And again, that's one of those calls that can go either way. And this time Buffalo gets the call, brings up a 3rd and 10 for O'Donnell.
It's a 3rd and 10 at the 47. That's Stone in motion. And now goes O'Donnell. 4th sack of the day for the Bills. Jeff Wright coming up with it. That's his 2nd sack of the afternoon. Had 2 last week against Houston.
Well, Buffalo knows, of course, it's a passing situation. Smith working against Strelzik. Jeff Wright beats Duval Love late and comes in as O'Donnell tries to scramble and makes the sack.
And Henry Jones, or rather Clifford Hicks, backpedaling and makes the catch. 41-yard punt. We'll be back in a moment.
Have you noticed that keeping up with your competition has gotten tougher?
Morning, Pierre.
Well, maybe it's because your competition has gotten tougher to keep up with.
Good morning.
Because he's using Express Freighter from Federal Express. It's the only way to get shipments from around the world sent overnight by 10:30 the next morning. So don't wait until things get out of hand. Use Express Freighter from Federal Express.
Starting now, your photos have the power of television. Introducing the Kodak Photo CD.
You won't believe your heart. You won't believe your eyes.
Your pictures taken with your current film and camera transferred onto a new kind of compact disc and shown on TV. The special photo CD player also plays audio CDs.
Your pictures have never been so powerful.
The new Kodak Photo CD system. You've got to see it.
Everything we put into the Chevy Lumina is backed by a bumper-to-bumper warranty. And we mean everything. For 3 years or 36,000 miles, you're covered. And there's no deductible. If anything goes wrong, we'll fix it. And we mean anything. Every Chevrolet has this bumper-to-bumper warranty. We build them like this. We can back them like that. What else would you expect from the heartbeat of America?
January 24th, the NBA Game of the Week returns to NBC. First, Michael Jordan, the greatest superstar in all of sports, visits Mr. Robinson's neighborhood as the Bulls face the Spurs. Then it's a rematch of last year's Western Conference Finals as the even stronger Jazz host the Trailblazers. An NBA doubleheader, January 24th.
Moments ago, you saw Pittsburgh left tackle John Jackson go down, and we have received an early report on his condition. He suffered a lower back sprain. Apparently had a little trouble moving one of his feet, so all that you saw with the stretcher and the ambulance were for precautionary measures. And we hope that it is not serious. It is called a lower back sprain. John Jackson headed to the hospital. First down at the 14-yard line. Kenneth Davis getting outside. Kenneth Davis fumbled it out of bounds, so will maintain possession. The ball will be spotted at the 45 in Pittsburgh territory as Davis ran for 41 yards.
Well, Buffalo in a new offensive set, 2 tight ends, 2 backs, 1 wide receiver. First time they've been in it all day. Off tackle to the weak side, and Davis breaks it. And as I said, Marv, early in the telecast, this guy could play on my team anytime because he's a fullback with tailback ability, and it just seems every time Buffalo really needs something to happen, this number 23 comes up and does his part.
Is there a specific team we're talking about, like in the near future there?
No, there's no specific team we're talking about, but this guy could play on it if there was.
Carwell Gardner's submarine by D.J. Johnson. So Kenneth Davis has now run for 81 yards on 8 carries. Last 4 possessions for Buffalo, all resulting in, check that, 3 out of the 4 resulting in scores. Just under 6 minutes remaining, 4th quarter. Buffalo has this one well in hand, a 17-3 lead. 2nd down and 2 at the 37-yard line. Here's Davis to the other side with a big hole. Kenneth Davis accelerating for 17 more.
Well, you get the sense now with the way Buffalo's able to run the ball, and they hadn't been able to do that early in the game, that it's not just good Buffalo blocking, but rather a little of the air, the Pittsburgh players realizing that the air is headed out of the balloon and that their season is rapidly coming to a close. You just get a little sense that the defense on the Pittsburgh side a little demoralized right now.
It's a first down at the 19-yard line. Gardner for a short advance. Well, we discussed at the start of the game, popping the question, how would the Buffalo Bills react to that miraculous comeback of a week ago, the greatest comeback in NFL history? How would Marv Levy handle it? Was he concerned that the players would have a letdown? And as it turns out, no, they have not.
No, they haven't. I kind of get the sense that Buffalo is kind of rallying that underdog role here. You know, they kind of gave the division away late in the season, and, you know, they had to go on the road and win a game and come down here to Pittsburgh, and that great comeback last week, and then coming down here and it just seems like they're kind of in a different mode. You know, they've been the favorite so long. They've been to the Super Bowl, and they just seem to have a different attitude. It's like they're on a little different mission right now than they have been.
And Rod Woodson headed to the Pittsburgh locker room. He took a blow to the head earlier and missed several series, which really hurt the Steelers. Sammy Walker came on, and he was a target. And Richard Shelton came on, replacing Rod Woodson. And the Bills were able to take advantage. Down to 3:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. It's a 3rd down and 1. Gardner picks up the first down. Carwell Gardner, 3-year man from Louisville, collecting the first down.
Well, that'll take it down toward the 2-minute warning, and there you see Bill Cowher. Of course, you know, I've been down there on this short end of a couple of these playoff games, and, you know, everybody after the game is going to be telling them it was a good season and you did a great job, but there's really not any solace or consolation in his mind, because when you're down there and this is happening to you, what you're thinking is it's another off season and another draft and another training camp and another preseason.
And Kenneth Davis goes in for the touchdown. So the Bills appear to have put this one out of sight with 2.5 remaining.
And that does put the icing on the cake. And just to add on to what Bill Cowher is thinking there, as I said, another preseason, another regular season, just to get to be standing down here in the semifinal game again. And you have to have a lot of luck and a lot of good fortune and a pretty good football team, and some breaks go your way to get in that position. And I'm sure that's what he's thinking right now, although he has done a tremendous job all season.
Well, they have marked it just outside the goal line. So they've taken the points off the board, and we'll be right back.
The quotes are in on the all-new Geo Prism. A look that easily surpasses Honda's best efforts to date. A handsomely styled, roomy, refined sedan. A best buy. But the most impressive quote of all may be the one you get from your Chevrolet Geo dealer.
Hey, I'm vain. Of course I'm vain. That's why I comb my hair the way I do. I stay in shape the way I do. That's why I use Power Stick.
50% more wetness and odor fighters per stroke. Power Stick by Fabergé. Power that won't let you down.
I told you I was vain.
For his retirement, Neil McBain had no intention of slowing down. That's why Dean Witter mapped out his financial course with only one goal in mind: victory. Dean Witter.
We measure success one investor at a time.
Wouldn't it be pop quiz? Oh no. Fire away. Which beer do you think is brewed longer?
This one overall has better flavor.
The darker one. Bingo. Coors Extra Gold is brewed far longer than Bud.
Seriously? Than Budweiser?
70% longer than Bud.
You know what? I can taste it.
Slow brewed for that real beer flavor and color, the way beer was meant to be, which may be why 58% of Bud drinkers prefer Coors Extra Gold.
I'll make it 59 and 60.
Coors Extra Gold. If you're missing real taste, beer is back.
They're gold, baby. The name says it.
Tonight, it's 2 hours of Empty Nest and Nurses. First at 8, 7 Central, it's Empty Nest.
I slept with Charlie.
Paired with a classic Nurses.
Nice fit.
Plus at 9, 8 Central, another all-new, breathtaking Empty Nest. Followed by a sexy new Nurses. 2 hours of Empty Nest and Nurses starting at 8, 7 Central, NBC Tonight.
Well, it appeared that a touchdown was indicated, but it was not. And instead, here's Gardner battling to score. And now they can put it back up on the scoreboard. So the Bills go to a 23-3 lead on the Steelers. Carwell Gardner, second-round draft pick 3 years ago out of Louisville, battling his way to the end zone.
And as I said, I get the sense that the Buffalo Bills are kind of in that underdog role now, and you know, it looks like the way it's been going that second half last week and in this game today, you know, they're going to be tough for whoever they play next week.
The Bills with a 24-3 lead on the Steelers. And next week, the wild card underdog Bills will go up against either Miami or San Diego. Against Miami during the regular season, they were beaten 37-10, and they defeated the Dolphins 26-20. They did not play the San Diego Chargers.
Well, coincidentally, too, that win they had over Miami was down in Miami, if I recall, on a Monday night, and the loss was in Buffalo. So Buffalo has already won one game at Miami this year.
And prior to the game this morning, Jim Kelly doing some light tossing. His status for next week uncertain. Marv Levy told us in very clear terms, if Jim Kelly is healthy, no matter what Frank Reich does today, coming off the sensational comeback victory last week, if Jim Kelly is healthy, Kelly is the starting quarterback.
Well, you're going to have to wait till Wednesday for that answer, because doing a little light tossing and going out there and playing a football game are two different things. Now, if he can go out Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday and practice to the satisfaction of everyone, then he'll be the starter. If not, I'm pretty sure Frank Reich will continue along, and he's proved to be a very, very capable and efficient backup quarterback.
Yes, Frank Reich did a nice job once again. And the return by Leroy Thompson. Spinning his way across the 30, Mark Maddox made the stop. Getting back to the subject of the Pittsburgh Steelers, as you mentioned, although Bill Cowher will not accept this defeat well, it's been a sensational turnaround season for Pittsburgh. 11-5 record, their best since going 12-4 back in 1979. Took over and energized what appeared to be a lethargic team. Very enthusiastic, very aggressive team, a reflection of the personality of their coach.
Well, without question, he's done a terrific job here. But as I said, knowing Bill Cowher just a little that I've gotten to know him this season, I can assure you he's very disappointed with the way the Steelers played today, not to take away anything that they've done this year, but it's a long year to get back to this place, and you never know whether you're ever going to get back here, and so it's an opportunity that has gone by the boards for the Pittsburgh Steelers, even though it was a successful season.
Charles Davenport made his third catch of the day. A minute and 42 remaining of the game. O'Donnell could not find anyone. And he goes down for the fifth time. Keith Willis will get credit. A minute and 35 remaining in this fourth quarter. Reminder, tomorrow on the pregame show on NFL Live preceding the Miami-San Diego game, Mike Ditka will be in the studio. They get to O'Donnell again. It's whistle dead. Keith Willis and Mark Pike combining to make the tackle. Mike Ditka will be in the studio, joining Bob Costas and Will McDonough on NFL Live. And I'm told, here's a flash for you, Bill. On Saturday Night Live tonight, the final Mike Ditka, the Bears skit will be on. Well, what are they going to do? They've lost good material here.
Well, I'll have to rush home and watch that, Mark.
The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. Our producer today, Tommy Roy. Our director, Andy Rosenberg. Thanks to our statistician, Mr. Stats himself, Elliot Kalb. Larry Pollock from Buffalo helping out, along with our spotters, Michael Gluck, Tim Fogarty. A minute and 23 remaining in this fourth quarter. The Buffalo Bills advancing to the AFC Championship game. They will play in either Miami or San Diego next weekend. you stay with us after the conclusion of the Steelers and the Bills for the Old Spice NFL postgame report. We have a staff of thousands as O'Donnell is chased once again. Bob Costas, O.J. Simpson, Will McDonough, John Dockery, Warren Moon, looking back at this one that's coming up following the conclusion. We have 1:16 remaining. Also, time permitting, and thinking about tomorrow's game between the Chargers and Dolphins, Gail Gardner will be taking us back to that epic playoff game that those two teams played back in 1981, eventually won by the San Diego Chargers in overtime.
Well, that's the famous hook and lateral play there that was used, lateraling the ball to Tony Nathan. I'd be kind of interested to see if Marv Levy is going to take his team to a warm weather site to practice for either Miami or San Diego, or whether he's going to go back to Buffalo.
Bernie Mills with another catch. That is his 8th of the day. John Dockery, O.J. Simpson will have interviews in the locker room of the Steelers and the Bills as we wind down 1:10 remaining in this fourth quarter. And the Bills taking over on downs. For the Buffalo Bills, a regular season of 11-5, followed up by that improbable win in the wild card last week against Houston. It's been a roller coaster year for the Bills. On a roll earlier, were beaten by Miami, as you mentioned, week number 5, hit a down period, losses to the Colts and the Jets, and then appeared to snap out of it with victories over Denver and New Orleans. Injuries to key players affecting the team, but here they are headed to the AFC Championship game. Once again, they will be the first team since the Raiders to play in 3 consecutive AFC Championships. Raiders did it from 1972 to 1976. And Frank Reich and the Bills are just running the clock down. Reich will finish 16 of 23, 156 yards, 2 touchdowns, did a nice job once again. The Bills going for 172 yards on the ground, and a solid game for Kenneth Davis to provide a lift along with Thurman Thomas.
Well, I think Buffalo has to feel good about where they are now. You know, they were in the grave a week ago at halftime, and now they're out and prospering and probably looking forward to the big game next week and a possible return to their 3rd consecutive Super Bowl. Certainly a tribute to their organization.
And Buffalo now has won the last 5 over Pittsburgh. Let's go to John Dockery.
Coach, I know this is not the way you wanted a really good season to end. You seemed able to move the ball early but not score.
Well, we turned the ball over 3 times at a point in the game where I thought it could have gone either way. And, you know, that's a good football team. I'll say this. Buffalo has come back, and maybe this is you there. Maybe they're a team of destiny. Maybe they proved it last week. But we had our chances early, and we couldn't do anything with it.
Do you think it had anything to do with playoff inexperience?
No, I don't think so. I think when you're playing good teams, you can't turn the ball over. And that's what we did early, and we couldn't fire our way back.
Okay, Coach, thank you. Okay. O.J., now over to you with Frank Wright.
Okay, I'm here with Frank Wright and Don Beebe. Tell me the point of the game seemed to change when Ron Woodson went out of the game. That you guys were aware that Walker was in, that you go after him as dramatically as it appeared.
Rod's a great corner, but no, we didn't really know that he was out. That we just were trying to execute what we could do. And, Don had a big game, and it's no secret that I like going to him. He's a very talented receiver, and he often gets overlooked in our offense. But I think this year he's had a great year, and what a weapon he is.
Don, why do you always have such success against Pittsburgh?
Well, first I'd like to say thanks to Frank for pumping me up so good, but now Frank, it's more coincidence than anything else. I think they tend to shut off over the middle things, and we can get the outside route, and that's what we did.
What about in the 3rd quarter? You were trying to go to BB, and it was almost intercepted by Sheldon, went the other way. What happened on that play?
I just made a bad read. Pete Metzler was open. I just made a bad read. But, again, I just thank the defense for playing a great game, the offense for hanging in there. But most of all, I thank God for the strength and just for the courage that this team can continue on.
Well, congratulations. See you in either Miami or San Diego next week.
Yeah,
John Dockery, over to you.
O.J., I'm over here with Rod Woodson. Rod, what happened in the first half?
We just couldn't get nothing generated really the whole game. It was just one of those things that we were trying and just couldn't get nothing generated on offense and defense. You know, we had to stop and we didn't, and they made the big plays and we didn't. That's the bottom line.
What happened to you, though, in the first half? Did you get a concussion?
Yeah, I got a little banged up in the head, and the second half came back and broke my hand, so it's, hell of a game.
You broke your hand in the second half.
Yeah,
Did they go after Sammy Walker? It seemed that way.
I didn't even see the game that when I was gone. I didn't even see any of that, but what I heard, they went after him a couple times, and they got him on a touchdown. So, it's one of those things that we learned from it, and this is the first year under the system. We're going to be back. We'll definitely be back.
Okay, thank you very much, Rod Woodson. Good luck to you. And Marv, back up to you and Bill.
All right, John, again, the final score, Buffalo Bills 24, Pittsburgh Steelers 3. So the Bills are headed back to the AFC Championship game. Now, stay tuned for Bob Costas, the Old Spice NFL postgame report coming up right after these messages.
Sure, you work in an office.
What do you mean 8?
But you live on the phone, which is why you should know about Centranet service from GTE. With Centranet, you get the features and flexibility of the most sophisticated business telephone system. Not the high cost of one.
It's really, really difficult for me right now.
Because while you spend most of your time on the phone,
You hung up on him, he's gone now.
there's no need to spend most of your money.
All right, so the Steelers with 4 turnovers today, all of them came in Buffalo territory. And how about Frank Reich's numbers now in 8 career starts, 62% completions, 16 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions. Buffalo advances against either Miami or San Diego, 24-3. Steelers with a fine season that ends today on their home turf. A reminder that the Redskins and 49ers don't kick off until 4:03 Eastern Time. So we invite you now to stay with us for the Old Spice postgame report. We will go back to Three Rivers Stadium for additional postgame interviews. And also, we'll talk about the game tomorrow in Miami as San Diego visits the Dolphins in the other AFC Divisional playoff. And Gail Gardner will join us to take a look back at that memorable game the two teams played 11 years ago. In fact, we'll begin with that as the busy postgame show continues right after these messages from your local station. Please stay with us.
Happily married psychiatrist is seduced by a patient who could destroy the only thing he loves.
You can't get away from me.
Tim Matheson, Mind of a Killer, NBC Monday.
Think smart. Think safe. Think Grand Marquis. And think about this. Now for 1993, Mercury Grand Marquis offers the protection of dual airbags as standard equipment, as well as available ABS brakes. And what's more, beyond safety, you'll find V8 power, room and comfort for 6, plus now get $1,000 cash back. So think smart. Think safe. Think Grand Marquis at your Lincoln Mercury dealer now.
Quality, style, convenience, and mall-wide savings. That's what you'll find during the Warwick Mall January clearance sale. You'll enjoy shopping in the mall's inviting interior and dining in New England's largest carousel food court. There's never been a better time to shop and save. Come to Warwick Mall during our January mall-wide clearance sale, and you'll see why Warwick Mall is the place for fashion, food, and fun.
WJAR Channel 10 welcomes Meredith Wilson's The Music Man coming to the Providence Performing Arts Center Thursday, January 28th. For tickets, call 421-ARTS. A Midwestern Millionaire's Misfortune on hard copy, Monday at 7.
The Old Spice NFL Live postgame report, brought to you by Old Spice Fragrance and Deodorant.
Well, tomorrow, the Dolphins and Chargers meet in a divisional playoff game at Joe Robbie Stadium. These two franchises played in one of the most memorable postseason games ever 11 years ago. And, of course, Gail Gardner, that one was in Miami, but at the Old Orange Bowl.
Old Orange Bowl, and it was a very steamy, hot, humid day that day. You know, Bob, when the Chargers made the playoffs in 1979, it marked the first time they had gotten in since 1965 in the days of the old AFL. From 79 to 82, Don Coryell's Chargers made it to the postseason, getting to the AFC Championship game twice. But few playoff experiences compared to the Chargers-Dolphins matchup in the 81 postseason.
led the National Football League in passing 6 straight years. That's never been done since then. It was never done before that. He was really on the cutting edge of passing offense in the NFL. It was Coryell. It was his offense. It was his team.
Air Coryell, perhaps the deepest and most ingrained memories of that era, took place in 1981 as the Chargers arrived for the AFC Divisional game against Miami in the heat and humidity of the Orange Bowl.
It's amazing how certain games sort of define a person or player's career, and for most of us that played in the Miami game, that game was it.
Pretty much in a quote, he says, "You don't do this to a Don Shula team in the playoffs." He says he's going to pull David Whitley out of the game. He's going to put in Strock. He's going to start throwing that football, pull out all the tricks out of his bag, and we're going to be here all day.
Fans, they tell me, never sat down at halftime. They were so excited about the play, and our players were excited. They couldn't wait to get back out onto the field for the second half.
By the fourth quarter, a Tony Nathan sweep put the Dolphins on top 38-31. But with 58 seconds left, Fouts tied it on a 9-yarder to James Brooks.
After all these years, I'm willing to admit that I overthrew Winslow and got very lucky in that James Brooks caught the pass.
But Strock wasn't done yet as he got Uwe Van
All Saturday at 8 on WLNE 6.
Last January, Washington's Mark Rippon was the most valuable player in the Super Bowl. But after struggling through most of this season, he engineered a wild card win last week that upped his postseason record to 5-1. Last year, Steve Young and the 49ers were shut out of the playoffs. But this year, Young has earned Most Valuable Player honors for leading San Francisco to the best record in football. Today, in the first postseason start of his career, Young will look to Jerry Rice, the all-time leader in touchdown catches. Mark Rippon has an all-time receiver of his own, Art Monk, who has caught more passes than any receiver in NFL history. And speaking of history, the Redskins and the Niners were the dominant Super Bowl teams of the last decade. Today, they meet for a trip to the NFC Championship. Clearly, they've done this before. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm Greg Gumbel.
I'm Terry Bradshaw.
And we welcome you to the start of the NFC Divisional Playoffs. Coming up, the Washington Redskins and the San Francisco 49ers. And without further ado, let's go down on the field to Candlestick Park and Pat O'Brien. Hello, Pat.
Hello, Greg. Hi, Terry. Hi, everybody. Well, it's a good omen for somebody here because for the first time in 10 days, it is not raining in Northern California. And you look at the field, it's not in terrible shape. They've had it covered for the last 10 days, but it is very loose and very slippery, especially out there in the middle. The injury situation, the Niners almost injury-free. Even tackle Harris Barton on the offensive line, he's been out for 3 weeks, is back on the offensive line. The Redskins arrived here on what amounts to it looks like a medevac is what they arrived on. They have 10 injured players, notably Darrell Green, number 28 there, who's out with that heel. He'll come in nickel situations only. A.J. Johnson gets the start there. The Redskins feel pretty good about themselves. Unlike the other administration in Washington, they're looking for a January inaugural. And we talked with Mark Rippon earlier, and I asked him, can the Skins repeat?
I think the guys, on our team, not a lot of people are giving us a chance, but it's funny, we just keep hanging around, and we're like a fly. You can't get rid of us sometimes. And we feel inside our organization we can. And we got a lot of guys that have been there before. If there's been two veteran teams that have been through the playoffs, to be the two that are playing today. And I think that helps when you're in situations like this.
Here's a chance to strike back at Terry Bradshaw, who called you a disappointing player. You got anything for your critic?
Well, Terry's been there before, too. It's not like he's had a solid career. Of course, he won 4 Super Bowls that we made up for the slow start that he had. And he's a great professional and a great player for the NFL. So like I say, there's critics all over the place. I've been criticized not only by him, but other quarterbacks, even some that have worked in our own organization. And I find it hard sometimes where, you point the finger at one individual where you had the finger point at you before too. So, Terry, you've been there too. So
here you are.
Understand that, you know, we're trying to fight through this. It hasn't been easy for us, so take it easy on us today, will you?
That other critic, by the way, was Joe Theismann. We were talking to another Skins great, Sonny Jurgensen, earlier, and he says to play that position, you have to have thick skin, as that fella sitting next to you knows so well. Greg, back to you.
All right, Pat, thanks much. You know, there are a lot of people who think that maybe the Redskins could sneak up on the 49ers. 49ers aren't going to be caught unawares today.
You know, I had an interesting conversation with all-pro tight end for the 49ers, Brent Jones. And he said, Terry says, nobody will catch us by surprise. We're too meticulous. Pay attention to the details. He said, we're well prepared. He said, our coaches give us no job security. Even me, the tight end, even our quarterback, Steve Young, MVP in the league, no job security. And I'll tell you something, the most important thing is this football team, the 49ers, realize that their success is measured only in this. That's the 5th Super Bowl, not how many wins they get during the regular season.
All right, Terry. Tomorrow is Game 2 of the NFC Divisional Playoffs with the Dallas Cowboys hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. These NFC East rivals met twice in the regular season, each team claiming a victory at home. Now, the Eagles welcome back safety Andre Waters, sidelined for nearly 3 months with a broken leg. He was activated yesterday. Head coach Rich Kotite plans to use him in short yardage and goal line situations. One man not happy about the return of Andre Waters is Dallas running back Emmitt Smith. After their first meeting this season on Monday night, Smith accused Waters of playing a little dirty football.
And the first time we met up there, I received a couple shots that I thought was fairly cheap, and Andre is known around the league for throwing out cheap shots. So not saying that he's a cheap shot artist, but he definitely does take his shots.
I just want to get back and get a shot at them in the playoff and make him eat his words. You know, I think that what he said was very unprofessional. So it's a great motivation for me, you know, to get back out there just to play the Cowboys again and see what he has to say then.
Waters' main ambition to come out and try to ruin my career, let him do it. Just as long as he don't ruin his own, trying to ruin mine.
And joining us now live from Dallas is Smith's Cowboy teammate, wideout Michael Irvin, who gained close to 1,400 yards on 78 catches this season, 7 of them for touchdowns. Michael, welcome to the NFL today. And let me ask you, there's plenty of conversation going on here, lots of material for the locker room walls. Have the Philadelphia Eagles now become the biggest rivals of the Dallas Cowboys?
Well, I don't know if they're our biggest rival, and I think you got to check with our fans on that. Our fans here, around here, they love to see that Washington game played here. So, and there have been a lot of talk going on, Greg and Terry, but we're not worried about all the talk. What we're worried about is executing on the football field. I mean, no matter how much talking is done, the game still got to be played.
Michael, the Eagles are saying that while they've had to go and play a playoff game in New Orleans, won that one, now they're on the road again to Dallas to play you guys. They have the momentum while the Cowboys have sat home and been kind of idle. Is that an advantage for the Eagles?
Well, I don't know if it's an advantage, but we thought the same thing last year when we went to Chicago and beat them while Detroit sat home and idle. And we went to Detroit, man, and it was it was ugly. They kind of ripped us apart. You know, they took it to a new level. They was a fresher ball club than we were. We got tired at the end of the game, and they just kind of ripped us. So we're hoping to go that route instead of the route the Eagles are talking about.
Michael, a possible matchup for you on the other side, McMillan at 5'7", and you measure up at 6'2". I would assume you like those kinds of odds going in.
Yeah, I would like it if that's the situation. I don't know. Most of the time we play teams, a lot of times defensive teams take their best corner, which is Eric Allen for Philadelphia Eagles, like the Deion Sanders and the Darrell Greens, and they usually follow me all around on the field. I don't know if Philadelphia will be doing that or not. That remains to be seen tomorrow.
All right, Michael, we wish you luck. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
You bet. Michael Irvin of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, earlier today, Game 1 of the AFC Divisional Playoffs, Pittsburgh, the Central Conference champions, hosting the Buffalo Bills, and it was all Buffalo. 24-3 was the final score. And watch Frank Reich here. One of his 2 touchdown passes, a 19-yarder to James Lofton. That made it 14-3 in the third quarter, and the Buffalo Bills are very much on a roll. And by the way, Buffalo coach Marv Levy says he will start quarterback Jim Kelly in next Sunday's AFC Championship game if he's healthy. What do you think?
You were going to do that. I feel strongly both ways.
Right.
I mean, you know, no, you've got to go with Kelly. I mean, he's your starter. You don't lose a job because of injuries, and All-Pros, one of the best in the league. And if he's healthy, I want Jim Kelly quarterbacking my team.
Frank Reich, 6 touchdown passes in 2 weeks.
He did a great job. It's easy to say, yeah, start Frank, but you got to go with the starter.
All right, tomorrow in the other AFC.
Maybe not, though. I don't know.
The AFC Divisional Playoff, the Miami Dolphins, champions of the East, host the San Diego Chargers at Joe Robbie Stadium. The Chargers are minus running back Rod Bernstein, who suffered a sprained left ankle in last week's win over Kansas City. Chargers quarterback Stan Humphries, who played last week with a separated left shoulder, practiced all week and will play with a special pad tomorrow. The NFL's coaching employment figure jumped to 4 last night. The New England Patriots fired Dick McPherson, who led the team for 2 losing seasons. On Tuesday, the Bears said goodbye to Mike Ditka after 11 eventful seasons and 1 Super Bowl championship. Iron Mike showed his soft side at an emotional news conference.
I try to do this with class. I don't know if I can. Scripture tells you that all things shall pass. This too shall pass.
And we will be talking live with Mike Ditka in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, speculation about his successor continues. A primary candidate, Richie Pettibone, who once starred for the Bears on defense and is currently the assistant head coach defense for the Washington Redskins. Other names said to be on the Bears list, their running backs coach, Johnny Rowland, and Dallas defensive coordinator, Dave Wannstedt. The Giants are also interested in Wannstedt. The feeling there is said to be mutual. The Patriots are said to be after Wannstedt as well, but the New England job may not be as attractive as those in New York and Chicago. Next up, we'll head back out to the ballpark by the Bay, where Pat O'Brien has a conversation with the NFL's MVP, 49ers quarterback Steve Young, and Randy Cross joins us here with an inside look at the guys gunning for Young today, the Washington defense. That and more when we continue live from New York and San Francisco on the NFL Today.
This NFC Divisional Playoff edition of the NFL Today is sponsored by Lincoln Mercury and the complete line of 1993 Lincoln and Mercury automobiles. The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart. And by Charles Schwab and Company. Maybe it's time to come to Schwab.
We feel the best way to advertise a car like Mercury Sable is the direct approach. Mention the car. Show the car. Mention the interior. Show the interior. Mention the safety features. Show the safety features. Mention Sable's commitment to design excellence and leadership. Show the car again. All this and the quality of a Mercury.
To me, there's nothing better than winning a Super Bowl or a NASCAR race. But to finish strong, you have to start fresh. That's why my car starts with an Interstate battery. Interstate batteries are fresh, thanks to the largest dealer network and a lightning-fast restocking system. So insist on an Interstate battery. For factory fresh power, look for this symbol or call 1-800-CRANK-IT. And start fresh with Interstate.
If you're paying annual fees on your IRA, if you buy mutual funds and pay loads or fees, we have an investment breakthrough for you. Now only Schwab gives you the lifetime guaranteed no annual fee IRA and no load mutual funds from leading fund companies. Only Schwab gives you the single best way to buy mutual funds for your retirement. So if you're still paying transaction fees or loads,
maybe it's time to come to Schwab.
Alan Spindle is one of the many people slowly waking up to the fact that only Coast is the eye-opener.
In my business, my hair has to look great, and even one flake is one too many. So I use New Head & Shoulders. It gets to 10 times more the places where dandruff starts. New Head & Shoulders, because great hair can't have flakes.
Well, after missing the playoffs last season, 49er fans at Candlestick Park are more than happy to welcome back a return to postseason play. And we welcome back Pat O'Brien, who's standing by. Pat?
Greg, you know, arguably the 3 greatest attractions ever here at the Stick, the Beatles, Willie Mays, and Joe Montana. You got to pity the poor guys that replace the athletes, right? Well, maybe not. Willie Mays leaves. Gary Maddox comes in, has a good, solid baseball career. And Steve Young, he seems to be on his way to replacing Joe Montana. But nobody knows this replacing legends business better than Steve Young.
Joe's kind of conducted the train going 90 miles an hour faster than anyone's ever made it, and your challenge is to see if you can keep that flame going as high and with as much poise and with as much credibility as he did.
Poise and credibility, those are words to describe Steve Young this season, who has taken Joe's job and turned it into an MVP trophy. You look at him and you say, now there's the quarterback of the 90s.
You want to hold this? Yeah, I'd love to. I feel really comfortable. It's not a toy, by the way.
It's not, huh?
No, it's not a toy. It's a weapon.
Let's talk about Joe for a minute.
No problem.
I know. I was just thinking. What was it like when he went in on the Detroit game?
If you look at the crowd reaction, it was really a tribute and a great reaction for, you know, a guy who hasn't played in the game for 2 years, and there was that intensity. And it was almost surreal just standing there with the rain and Joe getting back on the field.
You and Joe friends through all this?
Yeah. And in fact,
weird, though.
It's weird, but yet I think I always likened it to a big brother, little brother, going out in the backyard playing one-on-one, you know, and drawing blood, who's going to win and fighting and crazy. But I think that we're going to end up probably great friends because of the, you know, kind of respect that I have for him, there's no doubt.
Does Joe Montana have to leave in order for this to really be your team?
No, I mean, just this week. I mean, it's been an amazing, immense amount of, you know, information as we sit in film rooms and we talk about playoff games with the Redskins with all this wealth of knowledge that's invaluable.
Wealth of knowledge, indeed. 3 active quarterbacks today. Young, Montana, the number 2 spot. Steve Bono will hold for Mike Kofer. It is quarterback day at the Stick. Let's go back to the studio.
All right, Pat, thanks much. Randy Cross joins us now, and Randy has an inside look at what the Redskins defense has to do if it hopes to shut down the number 1 offense in the National Football League.
They run strong, they run weak. They got a quarterback who can run. Everybody on the team catches passes. There's no really one person.
Quite a display of weapons, but few are the equal of Jerry Rice. So your top priority is to prevent Rice from getting across the middle. How do you do that? You try to use a roll-up zone, which pushes Jerry Rice outside and keeps him from getting into the middle of the field where he does this kind of damage. And just when you thought it was safe to key on Jerry as a receiver, the Niners now bring him out of the backfield using the same short underneath pattern.
They're so unpredictable. You know, you can't predict when they're going to do that. And to think that teams can make calls and get into different defenses because of that, I really think is a myth.
And the league's number 3 rushing attack found Amp Lee while Ricky Waters was recovering from a bang-up shoulder. But the Pro Bowler is back, and you add Steve Young. He doesn't scramble often, but when he does, it counts.
Steve Young has over 700 yards rushing, so he's always a threat as far as running the ball, so we can't relax. And, you know, this makes for a game where you have to be very, very disciplined in our pass rush.
You have to be very sound in what you do. And I think your athletes have to make plays. You just have to, you have to create some turnovers and hope that the rest of your football team plays well.
92's been a year when the Redskins needed a big play or needed a turnover, they got it. And let's not forget, these are the defending world champs.
You know, we got a lot of guys banged up, but we got a lot of guys on the bench, too, that are banged. But the thing is, we just keep swapping them, and then hopefully now we're getting a little healthier, and the offense getting a little healthier. Hopefully we can make a run here, you know, this week.
Last week we saw the Washington defense suck it up, an injured Washington defense, and really shut down the Minnesota Vikings. We don't have to worry about the defense, but the question mark is Mark Rypien in the offense.
It always is with the Redskins. And, you know, Rypien, his biggest flaw is probably the fact that he's a good quarterback. That was a career year he had last year. Great Super Bowl game, but the real Mark Rypien is, I think, the guy you saw in '90 and the guy you're seeing right now, and he'll determine really who wins this game.
Yeah, you know, I think the real Mark Rypien is just a wonderful, nice guy, come up with a nice family, got a wife, beautiful kids. He's just a genuinely good person who went out and one day had a great day at the office, and then all of a sudden got a ton of money for that great day at the office. And I think what's happened, I think it unsettled him. He's a little bit uncomfortable with this newfound wealth, I guess, and success. And now, so he comes into '92 season, and it seems to me as though he's tried to prove that he's earned that $3.5 million over 17 weeks. And last week, when he settled down and let everyone around him do their thing, control the clock, run the ball, Mark Rypien played an excellent football game.
Yeah, weather conditions in San Francisco, it's been raining. They've been putting a drying agent out on the field. Does that make it a factor?
I guess people want to say, you know, the Hogs love to slop around in the mud, but you know, mud slows down everybody, and the 49ers on both sides of the ball have a real speed advantage.
Yeah, and I'm talking to Richie Pettibone. He said that the slow field will slow them down. That's to their advantage. The Redskins will play those soft zones. You won't have the Darrell Green, Jerry Rice matchup. And one of the things a bad field does, Greg and Randy, as you well know, Randy, is the fact that it takes away the man-to-man coverage, the real gambling style of defense, the blitzes, which the Redskins have been doing so well. Now, I mean, I want to go ahead. Now, the quick. How about Young? In '87, when Montana had an MVP year, he got benched in the second half by Walsh. I want to know, would that happen today now that Montana's the #2 guy?
Given a bad game, Terry, nobody's above being yanked. And he plays bad. Third quarter, they're down by a couple touchdowns. I think you yank him out and you put Joe in. They can't lose a game.
George Seifert might do that, huh?
Oh, I think so.
All right, Soldier Field may never be the same again after events that took place this week. When we come back, we will talk live with the man who will be missing next season along the shores of Lake Michigan, Mike Ditka.
This Magnavox portable CD player with pure digital sound is the best thing to take on vacation. Unless you compare it with this clever Magnavox 5-inch TV, great pictures anywhere. The best is this compact yet intelligent Magnavox camcorder with autofocus. Unless you take this Magnavox 3-inch LCD TV, which connects to my camcorder so I can watch my vacation on the ride home. Looks as though I had a pretty good time.
The ingenious products from Magnavox. They're smart, very smart.
This symbol outside means you have the standard inside that an entire library of software has been written to. The Intel microprocessor. Think of it as a library card that lets you run the software of today and tomorrow. So check out Computers with Intel, the computer inside.
I enjoy performing, but I also enjoy working out. That's why I go to General Nutrition Centers and get Cybergenics Phase 1. You get a training tape and a manual plus 5 state-of-the-art supplements. Hey, if this guy can do it, you can do it. Get Cybergenics at GNC, the authority in sports nutrition products.
People that first come to Subway are a little surprised we don't have sandwiches ready, just fresh bread. That's so you can see your sandwich being made and tell me if you like onions, tomatoes, or even hot peppers. I'm not a mind reader, and there's lots to choose from. If your sandwich looks as good as it tastes, that's because Subway has a training center where experts like Mr. Pilchin teaches the art of making beautiful sandwiches. He calls himself an art teacher. I guess that makes me a sandwich artist.
Ask a sandwich artist to make you a 6-inch meatball sub. Now it's just $1.69 at Subway.
Bears coach Mike Ditka leaving his office this week. Did not go empty-handed, taking his customized golf cart with him, but drove his own truck for the ride home to Bannockburn, Illinois, and he joins us from his home in Bannockburn as we speak. Good afternoon, Coach, and welcome to the NFL Today.
Good afternoon, man.
You were let go on Tuesday. Have any teams made contact with you since then, or you with them?
Yeah, there was about 35 teams that are contacting me. The most impressive was the Rolling Meadow Bulldogs. It's 12 years old and younger. But I'm looking forward to talking to their general manager and getting in with them.
And you think maybe your future is bright there?
I think probably that's my only capability. My intelligence level probably, I could deal with 12-year-olds.
Yeah, I was offered a starting job down there, Mike, believe it or not. Let me ask you, do you think...
might bring you back.
Yeah, great, we'll go together. Do you think that maybe your fiery personality might run some owners off that are looking for a coach?
I made a statement last night, if you guys watch other channels, that I said that I don't really care anymore, and if my coaching career is over, it's over. What I did it well. I'm very proud of what we accomplished in this city. If owners want something else, fine, let them get something else. I've never forced myself on anybody. I only asked for one job, and I asked for that 4 years before I got it in from Dallas to Chicago. And hey, the guy hired me, and he made a wise decision, and it worked out great. So I don't really worry about other people. Whatever they want to do, they do.
Yeah, Pat Bowlen fires Dan Reed's a good friend of yours. Mike McCaskey, he fires you. Do you think owners are trying to exercise more control over football decisions rather than just running the front office?
Well, I really don't know what I think, and to say what I think on the air wouldn't really help anything anyways, but it's interesting, you know, I join a great list of players or coaches who have been fired. When you talk about people like Dan Reeves, and you talk of people like Tom Landry, and you talk about people like Johnny Majors and Pat Dye and other people that have been fired this year, so I'm in a pretty good class of people. I don't feel too bad about that, and if my breed is dead, then welcome the new breed and long live them.
Mike, now that you're away from the situation, what changes do you think that the Bears should make that weren't made when you were there?
Well, that would be facetious for me to say that, first of all. I don't think that would be my role to say that, really. I think it's the things that are evident should be done. I don't think that you have to drown to know you're in water. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
Or I don't think you have to get burned to know that there's a fire nearby. I think that the evident things you do, and I think it doesn't take a genius or a scholar to understand what is evident, but it does take common sense. So you do the normal things that anybody else would do, because the repair and the damage that people think is so great isn't that great. It can be done, and it can be reworked, and it will be reworked, and the guy that goes in there is going to have an opportunity, because there are some fine young football players. There are some great guys that will give them all they got.
Mike, you said if your coaching career is over, then it's over. What would you do?
Well, you know, like I said, I'm not sure. I thought maybe I'd go on a professional bowling tour. There's a couple of things that are rolling around in my mind, but then, you know, there's a lot of things that could roll in my mind because my head's mostly empty.
Well, first of all, let's take you back to 1966 and give you a glimpse of something that maybe you've forgotten about. Take a look at the monitor.
Of course, catching passes isn't the only job of a tight end, Mike. You've got to do some blocking, too. That's fairly important.
Right, Cup. We, in our offense with a guy like Sayers, who certainly is the finest football player I've ever seen, you have to try to turn him wide. You don't want to keep him confined in the middle all the time, and we try to get him out around you.
Now, it seems to us, Coach, that there was more than a little experience back then as a broadcaster. Would you agree?
Well, you know, I was operating with Cup at that time, and, you know, he made me look good. What can I tell you?
You also worked with George Halas, who was your coach in Chicago. Did you mold yourself after George Halas? Did you copy any of his ways as a head coach?
Well, if I did, I would be flattered that I did. I don't know that I did. I try to do it my way, but I'm sure that a lot of the things that I learned from Coach Halas and Coach Landry, and I don't believe that the things I learned were wrong. I think they were right. You can only do it your way. It's no use copying somebody else or molding yourself after somebody else. There's only one of each of us around, and God made us all individually and separately, so we have to be what we are.
All right, Coach, you sit back, relax, enjoy the first half of the game. We'll chat with you again at halftime, okay?
All right. Thank you, man.
Mike Ditka, and we'll take a timeout and come right back.
Get your blood pumping. Hers too. Unless, of course, you stink. You don't have to if you use an Old Spice, because the pump's concentrated, and it puts more power on your pits than the leading aerosol deodorant. So it works. Big time. The proof?
Save your string.
She's all I need.
The pump from Old Spice.
Don't let the size fool you. Give it a shot.
For great odor protection, demand proof, not promises.
If you're paying annual fees on your IRA, if you buy mutual funds and pay loads of fees, we have an investment breakthrough for you. Now only Schwab gives you the lifetime guaranteed no annual fee IRA and no-load mutual funds from leading fund companies. Only Schwab gives you the single best way to buy mutual funds for your retirement. So if you're still paying transaction fees or loads,
maybe it's time to come to Schwab.
Alka-Seltzer Plus Nighttime. For relief without alcohol, hit the box, not the bottle.
We all want batteries we can count on, but you never know when they're on thin ice. Only Duracell has the Copper Top Battery Tester, so you can be sure your batteries will keep you gliding along. You can't top the Copper Top.
Introducing the 32-valve, 280-horsepower Lincoln Mark 8, and the most powerful argument we can make on its behalf. Drive everything else first. The new Lincoln Mark 8. What a luxury car should be.
Coming up, the 49ers and the Washington Redskins. The winner goes to the NFC Championship game. We'll all be back with Mike Ditka. We'll see you at halftime.